All right, so we're up now, and mics are hot, so the audience can hear you. And I'm going to go ahead and mute this for a second, but you guys will be on. So
okay.
You won't hear me, but they'll hear you.
Sounds good. I'm just sorting dice.
I'm doing my usual dice ritual where let's see if you guys can see this. Where I line up all my sets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why can't I keep it straight? There we go. Either different type going down.
That's awesome.
I do that for like 2 sets, and then the other sets I just like it's just in a pile over there.
I organize my dice by like my D20s are all together, my D8s are all together, my D6s, so on and so forth. But I have a specific set of dice that I use for each of my PCs, so I'm pulling out of all of my 16 sets of dice that I currently have. I'm pulling out the ones that are Millie's specifically.
Oh.
Yeah, like I have one that I'm not that happy with it. I think it's a cool set, but I just don't think it's a Brim set. But I've got these that are kind of like a fiery set.
Nice.
Ooh, those are nice.
They're nice, but I like the edges to be sharp, and these are more rounded.
Yeah.
These are my ultimate Millie dice. I don't know if you can see them, but they have seashells inside.
Oh, that's so fun.
And they have gold on the bottom.
Ooh, where did you get those from?
Amazon.
Nice.
Ooh, girl.
Ooh, girl. That gelatinous cube that you got, I swear to God, I've been eyeing those up. That soap with the dice
The
in
soap,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I want that.
I got the lime, and it smells really good.
Does it smell really
his
good?
His is an actual gelatinous cube mini. Mine is soap, and it has a set of a full polyhedral set in it, and little plastic bones.
Yeah, I've seen that before, and I was like, oh, I want that.
But yeah, it smells amazing.
Oh,
and
that's good.
Yeah, because I got the lime scent. But they have an unscented one, and then they have hero scent, which is like sandalwood and stuff.
Okay, I get you. Hero scent.
Yeah.
Hero scent just smells like crazy sweat and blood.
Yeah, basically.
It smells gross. It actually makes you stinky. It does the opposite.
So it smells like dirt and sweat and leather. Saddle.
Delicious.
Saddles.
Okay, where in the hell did this stand? I need to figure out how to do these PDF things, because this is driving me bananas.
Bananas? Don't use that sort of language here. This is a family stream.
Well, all your audio sounds great. Rory's jumping in right now. Steve is just wrapping up a call, so he'll be in a second. Thank you, everybody, for getting in a minute early. The challenge is I can't start doing anything with the video until everybody's in, because it moves all of it around in Zoom. I do have my emergency screen set up from last time, so if we do have a situation, and I think, Vivi, tonight's a good night for you to go, closer to 8, right? If I have it right in the schedule.
I'm free. Yeah, go ahead.
But if any of you ever need to step away, or for some reason leave early, if you can leave your video up, I can hide it on my screen without you dropping off the Zoom, because I have individual display captures for each of you. So if you just want, and I've got the Discord up as well. So if you tell me, hey DM, I've got the Discord message for you, and you've got to leave for some reason, or that's fine. And when I see that in the Discord, you don't have to kill your cam. I'll just hide your cam, and it'll just stay up until the end of the stream, but no one will see your house or what's going on. It'll be hidden, but then it won't mess with everybody else's views.
Okay.
What if I want them to see my house?
I can leave it up.
Shelves, books start falling off the shelves by itself.
Did you guys watch my room? I'm scared.
Why is that miniature moving behind you, Josh?
You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Does it sound good?
Yeah, everybody, you sound great. Everybody's live. I don't know if you saw it. So the title of tonight's show is Adventures of the Wayward Bolt.
Yay!
So we're canonizing it. I don't know if this is going to be your name forever or if it's just for now, but either way, I like it. And then
forever name.
All right, and then C. Carson already in the chat. Hey, Retro Gamer, good to see you, sir. Roxafarius, good to see you. Got the host from Jay. Thank you very much, sir. We're going to be getting started here in just a minute. But C. Carson said, carry on my wayward bolt, for there will be peace when you are done.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
That sucks because we can't say that in game.
I know, how cool would it be if I could have that as our intro music?
Ooh, do we know anybody who sings well?
Oh, heck yeah.
Who, you?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, sing!
I sing, but I would
But
not
not
say
well.
well.
I also sing, but not well.
Oh, it sounds like it's a theme. I'm the same, so.
We could all sing it, and that would just be our intro.
Just a terrible.
It'd be terrible, but that would be our terrible intro. That way they know what they're walking into when they jump on the stream.
Exactly. I have a really cool intro video. I was trying to get it ready for today. It's not ready. It's going to hopefully be ready for next week, but it's pretty fun.
Did you get that all figured out, John? That video thing?
Yeah, I think I've got it just about there. It's a different person I went with this time.
Yeah.
So he's
good.
he's rendering it tonight, and he'll send the sample over to me tomorrow morning. So we'll see where it's
that's
at.
Quick.
Yeah, it's been about a week. He's moved quickly. Hey, MTAMJ Moondog, that's Monkey Took My Jetpack. He's another old school gamer.
Took my jetpack.
Yeah. That is, in fact, yep.
I love that.
Yeah, he bumped on one of my Wednesday night streams several months ago, and we kind of hit it off a little bit. He's been around for a while. He's really connected with a lot of the stuff. He writes modules and other kind of game world flesh outs. He's in World Anvil just like I am. Cool guy. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We're waiting for one final player to hop on the Zoom so I can get all my Zoom windows correct, and then we'll switch over to the video. So you guys all saw we have, actually, Moondog, go ahead and drop your creds for your podcast in the chat. That's fine. Yeah, you can do that, and I don't even mind if you do it once, maybe again a little bit later.
Have him send it to me so that I can do it, because anybody that's not on the specific list is going to get blocked automatically by Nightbot.
Are you sure? Because I thought I disabled a lot of that in Nightbot this week. I tried to change some of those Nightbot settings. So
if it doesn't work for him, just send it over to me and I'll drop it in there.
Oh, and where would he send that to? Would he just put that in?
Just whisper Theater Evie.
Yeah. So, yeah, MTMJ, try to post it yourself if you can. I want to see if that's working, because I have others I'd like to be able to do that. And then if that doesn't work, you can just whisper it to Theater Evie, THTR. I think I got that right, Evie.
I put it in the chat.
Oh, perfect. All right, we're going to go to our emergency screen since we don't have the final player in yet, but this will get at least where everybody can see us, and we are.
Oh, I forgot.
Is a tight crunch coming from work.
Yeah, I knew it would be for some, especially with this time slot. But I appreciate everybody.
Oh yeah.
Getting in and. All right.
Sorry.
So you can now be seen. And we are just going to wait for, we got one more joining us, one more player, waiting for the player that runs Uthar or Wilnan. He's going to be jumping in just a second, and then I'll make sure I have all the video stuff lined up. But thank you for joining us for another fun night here at Blue Box. This is session number 2 of Greyhawk Awakening, and it's probably going to take us about 5 minutes or so before hey, thank you very much, Jay, I appreciate it. So Steve has just popped in now before we get all the video stuff set up. But we are now set up in the Discord channel. So our Discord's been up for a while, but the Greyhawk campaign team chat is private, so only the members of this team can see that chat. However, we now have the the trade and supply of Hamlet is open as a channel in the Discord. So you can actually go in there and basic supplies can be purchased. So nothing related to weapons, armor, no cargo transports, I think was being asked about. Basic supplies, and that's actually going to be modded or run as an NPC character by one of our own viewers, Pat66. Pat's been with us a long time. He's actually working tonight. Hey, Captain Mymorph, good to see you, sir. Lord Forth, good to see you. Shane O'Mac, yo, good to see all our folks popping in tonight. And so that Discord is going to be, getting more and more active, specific to our campaign. So it's all about Greyhawk, my Sunday campaign, this campaign on Tuesday nights, and that Discord has open channels and it has sub-only channels. And Evelyn, if you don't mind, if you go ahead and drop our Discord in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and get all the rest of the video lined up, and I will let you talk amongst yourselves. And if you like, engage with our amazing viewers a bit. Not everybody at once, please.
It's a lot of pressure to drop.
Hey, Phantom, good to see you, sir. Thank you, C. Carson, for the sub. Doing well, Shadow Fox. Yeah, and I got to get my my alert box is on here. It didn't fire for some reason when you sub. Let me see why that is, but all right. All right, so let's try, we're going to do a little bit of musical video chairs. So right. Steve was in last. Let's have, Millie, you're fine, I think. Let's have, Rory, if you could have Gimbal kill your cam for a second. Just stop your video.
Just click it.
Click it off and then restart it. That should move you around.
Stop.
All right, and then
start.
Come back in again. All right, that got us closer. Now let's have Josh do the same. Go ahead and kill Brim's video for us for just a second, and then pop back in. I've got to figure out. I've got to get exactly the right order. Yeah, they did, Rox Various. They came up with the right name. All right, it looks like.
Yeah.
Boy, this sucker's just moving things all around. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move these manually, so you guys just stay where you're at, and I'll get this order set up next time.
Nobody move.
And hey, Just Richard, thank you for being on with us tonight. And yes, it looks like he was able to drop the link, so thank you, MTMJ Moondog.
Great.
Glad you're able to get that in there. All right, so while I'm doing this, let's talk just a bit about some of our sponsors. Thank you very much to Frederica of Frederica Draws. She is a fantastic artist, and all of the art that you see here today on our stream is done by her. Now, not the images that I'll show up on sort of the DM monitor cam periodically, but the actual player art that you're seeing. This is all done by her. Josh, if you could move to your... Yeah, that way. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm just reading stuff right now. Sorry.
No worries. And... Then Gimbal and Lilith. All right, that one's good.
Reading.
And so thank you to her. And then also we want to acknowledge Dragon Crafting Guild. Dragon Crafting Guild makes these amazing dice trays. Rory, if you could go right beneath the middle of your arch, that's it. Perfect. And I think we got our main view good, so I'm going to transition that one over. And then also remember...
Dragon Crafting Guild.
Thank you very much. That's a Dragon Crafting Guild dice tray. We actually gave one of those out midstream last week, and we may give another one out tonight. Just maybe. We'll see, depending on how things are going, how active the viewer participation is, how many we have. We might give another one of those out tonight. Let me just move these other screens around, and while I'm doing so, does anybody have any questions on any of the rule sets that we ran last week? Maybe why I did certain things as a DM that you may not have been as accustomed to in the 5e games that you've run. And by the way, for all of our viewers, if you didn't hear this last week, every player here is new to Greyhawk. Almost all of these players have been exclusively 5e. Lilith played just a bit of 3.5, and then the player playing Wilnan, Steve, and the player playing Millie, they have played in my other campaigns where they have been playing essentially a 3.5 system with a lot of 1E, 2E elements. So it's a bit of a custom setup. And so that has been their exposure. No one had played in Greyhawk, and no one really had experience with any of the older systems. They were 5e players, and they've really been enjoying it. So I'm going to put you guys on the spot here before we do player introductions. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Lord Forth. I put a lot of work into those character sheets. So let's talk about what you have liked. And I'm going to go to you first, Josh, just because I like putting you on the spot. And yes, I am going to be asking you to do your Monster Monday impression again this week. It's your fault for doing those on Mondays, right before we stream on Tuesday. So tell the viewers what it is you've liked about Greyhawk and some of the older rule sets that you've seen already on this stream.
Oh man. So Greyhawk. We're still dipping our toe into it, but I've really been loving this stream just because, and I'm going to put Blue Box on the spot here just because I'm flipping around on him. I love what he's doing with this. I love what Jay was able to do with Lord Gazumba. I've had an amazing time these past 2-ish weeks, and just the world is believable. It's not something where it's like, oh, you go to this part, plot point. You come to this part, plot point. There's places all over, and there's pieces all over that connects the world around, and that's something I'm loving with all of this.
I appreciate that. That's great. Anybody else have any thoughts on what you've observed so far just about the world of Greyhawk as you've been getting exposed to it?
I think similar to what Josh was just saying, like everything's interconnected and it makes sense. It's not like you said, like a plot point and stuff like that. And just being able to play and do like RP as you kind of will, and you kind of just let us do our own thing. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it.
All right, well, good. Thank you. So let's come back to you, Josh. Go ahead. Hello, Captain Myamorph. With a name like Blue Box, you would think it would be, well, it is a lot of 1E stuff. That's exactly right. And you obviously caught the origin of the Blue Box moniker. It is the original expert set. Was part of the basic, then expert red box, blue box stuff from the late 70s and early 80s. That's how I got my initial entree into D&D and where I learned, everything that I got started with. So that was really the inspiration for the channel. But now what I've loved is bringing the elements of 5e in terms of the player community, a lot of new folks being brought to D&D. So even though I don't run 5e rule sets, I'm really grateful to the 5e community, and also a lot of the the content that's being generated. The artwork is incredible. So I just think it's a nice opportunity to meld these systems in a way that pays homage to the original stuff, but really involves a lot of this new player base. So let's go, Josh. Let's hear about your Monster Monday.
Yes, right, of course.
So explain to everybody what this is first.
So, my Monster Monday is my, of course, Monday of the week that on social media, Twitter, Instagram, I'll post a riddle or just a rhyme for my followers to try and guess what creature in the monster manual I am talking about. And many of the weeks, almost 2 out of the 6 to 10 people commenting will usually get it right. So I try and make it hard. This past week, I think almost every single person got it right, though.
I got it.
Yeah.
Stop bragging, Millie. All right, go ahead. Let's hear it, Josh.
Okay,
Sounding like a euphemism, stepping claw by claw. As you adventure, be wary of my caw. My claws are sharp and deadly, my bite even more so. If I get a good chomping, you'll have to make a saving throw. I can fly, I can move, I can screech, and you can shoot. It'll just be a hoot. As you look around, and you stand alone, you sit and see, you stand and see, your friends are all but stoned. What creature am I?
All right, so we'll give the viewers a chance to guess on that. And while they're popping in their guessing, let's go ahead and get ready to start. We got everything all lined up and ready to go. So let's start with the player. So announce, let's go with your name. Go ahead and drop any socials or anything you want to in the chat. And then tell us about your player, or your PC rather, name, class, race, level, and any other details you'd like to give. And we're going to start with Millie.
All right. Well, let's see. Hi, I'm Evelyn. And I play Millie. She's a half-elven swashbuckler, level 1, and she's definitely a pirate. And you can find me pretty much everywhere at Theatre EV.
Well done, thank you. Let's go to Brim.
Hello. My name's Brimstone. I'm a half ogre fighter. I'm definitely not a usual ogre, as I don't drink, and I prefer milk, and I like my life where it is. I'm standing at 7.5 feet tall, built like a freaking tank.
And if you're looking for me anywhere, I'm NPC voices on practically all the social medias.
Yeah, and you owe it to yourself to check out his stuff. It's hilarious. All right, let's go to Wilnan. Uthar.
Yes, my name is Steve, and I am playing a human paladin, level 1 at this time, named Uthar, and he is trying to find his way. He appears to be an old man, but he's got some rashness to him, and not a very good shot with a bow, unfortunately.
Lilith can attest to that.
So yeah, if you're wondering how they got the name Wayward Bolt, it was from Session 0, the Prelude, run by the aforementioned Jay, who had some fairly tough bad guys being thrown at the party, and Uthar, or Wilnan as you see him on the screen here, deigned that he would use his bow and try to strike a blow. He fumbled on one of his very first rolls as a PC and struck Lilith with that bolt, crossbow bolt. So it is a moniker now that is stuck with the party that they are the Wayward Bolt. All right, let's go to Lilith.
My name is Vivi, and my character is a Grugak, wild elf druid. Her name is Lilith. What were we doing? You can find me on Instagram at the DM's Quest. I paint minis, do some terrain building, and I don't know, DM and play. I think that's about it.
Yeah, and fantastic stuff that she does. Very, very creative. Also a good Instagram to follow. And lastly, but not least, let's go to Rory of 2DM's podcast.
Yeah, so my name is Rory. I play Gimbal. He's a level 1 gnome. He's an illusionist. And you can find Rory on 2DMs and on Varspear's Adventuring Academy. One-shots and podcast for both.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, Bloodwild said with all the voice acting, party name could be Damage Response and Milk Advancement Drama. I like that. So just a couple other shout outs. We've already mentioned Lord Gasumba. Thank you very much, Jay. Also, Greyhawk Online. Christoph runs Greyhawk Online, also the Orc Journal. Tremendous resources, the Greyhawk Wiki, all kinds of great content out there if you're part of this community. And when will Gimbal get an attack off this session? Yeah, he did sleep most of last session, didn't he? So thank you very much for all of that. And let me see if I'm missing anything. Just a reminder again, my Discord is up for the players. So if you want to private message me anything, I do that a lot. So if you're doing, let's just say, for example, and I'm not suggesting this would happen, but if Gimbal wants to pocket the gem without the party seeing, he can send that to me in a Discord chat. I may also message you things that not all the other players would be aware of in the Discord chat. And then I think that's going to do it for our announcements. So let's go to what happened last time, and we will get started. Who wants to give us just a quick synopsis? If you want to talk about any parts that you played in it, or anything that stood out to you from last time, help our viewers get reoriented with what happened last week.
Sure. So last week we had Millie, who felt a little extra courageous or curious and went into a dark alley. I don't know when that was ever safe. She went into a dark alley and was faced off by, kind of lured in or trapped into this alley by some strangers who maybe she knows who they are. And a fight or an encounter broke out, and she was able to swiftly escape, in which then she came back into the inn and woke us all up from our sleep. So much so that Gimbal decided to go back to sleep for the entire fight. And I forget if someone did escape. The
mage did.
The mage escaped. Yep.
Mhm. He vanished and disappeared into the night. We assume.
And
we have
the
somebody tied up. Right?
yeah.
Yeah. The assassin is tied up in Brim's room.
Yeah, there was a bit of confusion there where Ostergundegut, who is still the innkeeper, the tavern keeper of the Welcome Wench in Hamlet. He's been doing this now for nearly 50 years, so he is well up in years, and he had a kind of an interesting exchange with Brim where he suggested he knew what Brim wanted to do with that assassin when he was taking up to his room, and Brim misunderstood where he was going with that. And he replied he wanted you to ask some really tough questions. What other points does anybody have from last week that you think would be worth mentioning?
Well, prior to all of the notes and the assassin and stuff, we had just gotten back from assisting Lieutenant Pels with getting the money to the miners in Kron. And we had been actually drinking in the tavern beforehand and noticed the cloaked figure who turned out to be the assassin that we met later on in a not as friendly manner, as well as the mage. They had been sitting together in the bar prior to that. And then we discussed a little bit about what we had learned about Halia, who had betrayed us viciously. And
How was that vicious?
Viciously.
It's a regular betrayal.
She lets us to die. Vicious. But Millie had shared what she had overheard Halia, talking to Zoe about, and noticed that the chains that she wore, and thought that would probably be a good place to start for figuring out kind of maybe where Halia had gone off to.
All right, great. Anything else? All right. I think that's great. So we're going to go ahead and start right there, and I'll kill this pleasant ambient music, and we'll kick things off. So it's the next morning, by the way. It is Star Day. Star Day is equivalent to Saturday. There are 7-day weeks on Earth, just like we have, although it's arranged in 28-day cycles of months, and then you have festivals in between each. So you are in the month of Patchwall, which kind of starts the beginning of the fall season. And that's why the tavern was fairly full the night before, because it was free day. It was Friday, kind of the weekend starting, and it is now the beginning of the fall season. So I mentioned last time there's a chill, this bite that starts to catch the air. You're seeing some of the leaves turn. It's a beautiful time in the Flness, and you are of course located in the city of Hamlet or the town of Hamlet. For our viewers, this is Hamlet. But it is not the exact Hamlet that you would have seen in the original, 40 years ago, Gygax module. This is Hamlet 4 decades later, but it is not following exactly some of the content that you see in terms of, the complete growth of the city and a huge castle there. Still has the original Tower of Rufus and Byrne. That's here. Some of the original inhabitants are still alive. Some have died, some have moved on. So you may notice there will be familiar names at times during the session from the original Hamlet, but there'll be new NPCs. There'll be stories of things that have kind of passed on. So it's an evolution of the town of Hamlet, adapted for roughly the year 630-ish in the Flness. All right, hey, good to see you, Wicked Studios. We'll be looking to hopefully jump into your session here when we conclude ours. All right, so it is that morning, as I said, and the tavern sounds can be heard from below. It's already starting to fill up with the morning folks coming in for breakfast. And Uthar, you were in your room. And in your room, you had, I can't remember, was Brim in there with you, or were you by yourself?
I believe I was in there by myself.
That's what I thought too. Okay, so the assassin that you have tied up to your bed, he's splayed out, his arms tied to the bedpost, his legs tied to the opposite end foot of the bed. And he was saying to you at the end of the last session, "Come here, I have a secret to tell you."
Speak.
You have gained powerful enemies, my friend. You think some mere brigands worried about payroll to the Kron Hills were to be trifled with? No. You have made an enemy of the Red Lords. And what we have coming for you. You see, he kind of looks, his head tilts. Ah, you hear that? You hear Lilith scream outside the door. The unmistakable sound of her screaming.
I back to the door and open it to see what's happening.
You put your back to the door and you open it. You look down the hallway. You don't see anything, but you can hear a scream coming from behind Lilith's door.
I immediately grab my sword and my shield and I run and burst through the door.
All right, so Lilith, you have just woken up that morning. You're going through your normal morning rituals, getting yourself prepared. Perhaps you've once again engaged the hairbrush that you got from Alia. No. That's a weekly thing?
That's all I need.
That's a weekly thing? Yeah.
Once a week.
And then suddenly, boom! Uthar comes bursting through the door. You didn't. It sounded odd, like when the door first struck. You didn't hear anything. By the way, everybody else, you heard this same sound. So, Millie, Brim, Gimbal, you all heard the sound of Lilith screaming.
All right.
Lilith,
Well, I would have run out of my room as well.
all right. So you're seeing now several others come running out. Lilith, as you look up in startlement, you see Uthar come bursting through the door. Bursting through the door. He's got his sword in hand. You see her just simply, getting ready. She's dressed, but she's just getting ready for the day.
Turn and say, check on the drow. We have been deceived.
I'm going to immediately run to the room where I know that the assassin was tied up.
All right, you go rushing back to the room, and when you walk in, you see his head is lolled back and his throat has been slit. Blood slakes down his chest. His heart is still pumping bits of blood out, but already the color is drained from his face.
I really wanted to question that one. Doesn't seem fair after the night I've had.
Quick OOC, detect evil is not something I can just try to sense. I have to direct it as a specific entity.
No. So you absolutely,
Okay,
you
so
have
I
a
immediately
radius.
Detect evil.
Yeah. So as you see, Wilnan concentrates for a moment. His brow furrows. He utters a brief prayer. You sense a stain in the room, and you feel something fleeting. It was at the edge or the periphery of your senses toward the east, and then it sort of vanishes like it moved out of range just as you were sensing.
Now, as far as this floor is east, is that going to be something that
Yeah, so
since it's still in the
Yeah.
within the building, or am I near a wall? So it's
no, yeah. So you 60-foot radius from where you're at, you would have been outside the building. So whatever you felt, it was already just outside the building, moving to the edge of your radius for detection. You felt it. You can still feel the resonance or the stain, if you will, in this room. But you felt the actual entity that had been here right at the edge of your detection and then vanish. So
Yeah,
none of you obviously know
seems
this.
the-
You just see him concentrating.
It seems the assassin's assassin has already fled. I feel that we have chased and done enough chasing. I'm not sure there's
Yes.
anything we can do.
Did you learn anything from that man before he met his unfortunate end?
He mentioned a group that we had supposedly run afoul of. Red something, the red house, the red coats, the red something. But who knows? This was
Would-
obviously someone who was not very high up, or he would not have been sent for such a mission.
Would I have heard of any organizations with red in the name?
You go ahead and do a roll a d20, add your knowledge local.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or anything you're doing?
About this time is when Brim comes out, fully armored, clothed.
15 points?
Okay, so
Or 15?
yeah, okay.
Sorry.
So Brim, you walk out. You see everyone is standing around Wilnan's room, and this does not ring a bell for you, Millie.
Red something.
It's pretty vague.
Look over inside of the room.
How'd that happen?
Well, I saw him through the night, but unfortunately, that was not enough. We were distracted by the apparently Lilith's screaming was not from her, and when I fled the room, another assassin came and ended him.
Too bad.
I put my Brim puts his hand on Uthar's shoulder.
It's okay. Everyone messes up. Is Lilith okay?
She was totally fine. Seems some sort of trick was played.
I probably owe her another apology, but I will deal with that later. At least this one did not involve injury.
That is good. Thankfully. So, do we have any leads other than a mysterious assassin?
I feel that if we have in fact drawn the ire of some organization, they will seek us out. They've already tried.
Is Ashrin anywhere nearby?
Yeah, Ashrin is also standing in the doorway. She's shaking her head. The amount of violence and all that has befallen this party just seems to be overtaking her.
Ashrin, do you know of any group that is nearby that would be these red whatevers?
Well, I don't rightly know how I can identify something if it just says red whatevers. I don't... What red what? I don't recognize... Red is a color, of course. I have many things that are red.
Yes, but not all organizations are red something. I mean, that at least narrows it down a bit. It was just a question.
Perhaps some association of assassins or some dark evil. I'm not sure what would have drawn them to our group. I know of no enemy of my own.
You hear footsteps, and Brim, you're sort of in the doorway there with your hand on Uthar's shoulder. Your head's above the doorway, or right. So it comes to right here on you. You're sort of reaching through, putting your hand on his shoulder, and when you turn, you see the tavern keeper. He's come walking up. Ostler's still kind of hunched over. I didn't show you a picture of him last time, but I'll go ahead and put that up quickly so you can see. This is the original Ostler Gundigut, but he is now well into his 80s. Kindly-eyed old man. He's seen you through some of these things already the first couple of days. And as he comes walking up, he says, "What on earth is going on up here? I heard screaming. Some of the patrons were concerned."
Apparently you have an infestation of assassins.
What on earth are you talking? He's peeking. He's trying to look around Brim to see what's going on
I
inside.
step back. I fear, good Ostler, that you will have to change more than the sheets today. We had captured one of the fiends that attacked us last night, and his throat was slit this morning.
Oh, how am I ever going to clear that off the bed sheets?
It seems you have great experience in your many years. I trust you will come up with something. I pat him on the back and walk downstairs.
You swear to me you didn't do this yourselves? I saw the look in the ogre's eyes last night.
I can attest to the ogre's absence from this room for the entire night, and I was there until I heard what I thought was the screaming of Lilith, at which point I ran out, and you can tell from the cut that it was no weapon of mine.
I go to try and find Gimbal.
I'm just in the hallway. Down here.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I always see you.
Most people do.
If you don't mind, and Gimbal will just kind of like walk his way into the room and cast prestidigitation on the bed.
All right. So Gimbal walks in. Gimbal, you're also. It would be almost inevitable that you're fascinated by whatever was done. Clearly, this was some sort of illusory sound that was created, and yet it did not. It was not heard by Lilith, because Lilith heard nothing. But you see Gimbal walks in the room, and he utters a quick incantation, and you see suddenly the blood and whatnot sort of seeps away from the sheets and is cleaned quite well. There's still some stains and whatnot, but it's remarkable what this little cantrip does.
Well, that seems pretty handy.
Yeah, also,
Well, that was quite useful. Thank you. We should probably report this to the constables. I'll leave that to one of you. Well, all right. Perhaps it's best if you come downstairs and get away from the area where the crime was done. Thank you.
Yes. I'm going to go downstairs with Brim.
all right.
I'll go downstairs as well.
Is anybody doing anything other than going down into the tavern?
Realizing I had not searched him before, I will go ahead and search the assassin really quickly before I come down.
All right, so...
Not expecting anything, because I assume something would have been taken by now.
Sure, no, so I did mention last time, I think you found he had two short blades on him, which looked to be really well balanced and well made. He had armor that had been split open during the combat, leather armor, black leather armor, completely ruined. He had a small sack on his pouch, or a pouch on his waist, but I think I gave you the coin for that. And then I referenced...
It was sat on the bedside table.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I also referenced that you noted something, that while he was pristine otherwise, quite clean, all of his leather's black, with the exception of the blood, that his boots were covered with a red clay.
My intention is not to search for items, but just to search his clothing. I'll take his boots off, just to see if there's anything else identifying to give any kind of sense of something unique about this particular individual.
Okay. So you notice I want to make one clarification. I realize why you could have been confused by the picture last week, but he's actually not drow. He was half elf. And so you go through his clothing. Again, you see meticulously cared for. You find he does have a pair of knives hidden in his boots. They look, again, like they're well-constructed, well-balanced throwing knives, but you find nothing else of note.
I leave the knives and leave him as is.
All right. And so you come downstairs. Hello, Mystical Unicorn. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We're just getting into it now, so you're just in time. And if you're on this Blue Box stream and you're just checking us out, this is only campaign or session 2 of this brand new campaign for Greyhawk Awakening. And we appreciate everybody being on. And we have one question for you. If you haven't clicked the follow or sub right now, our question is, what are you doing? Give us a quick follow. All right, so everybody's back downstairs. And as you head downstairs, as I said, you see there's a light morning crowd here for Star Day already. You can see, if you're watching on your Twitch stream, you can see the Inn of the Welcome Wench down below. And you'll also note it's had a wood floor upgrade overnight while you were sleeping. So you see a handful of patrons. In here, it's a sparser crowd, certainly, than you had the night before. You make your way around the table. And again, for our viewers, just to kind of get the minis set up here, I'm going to have to stand to do this. It's way over there. We have Brim here, the half-ogre. We have Uthar or Wilnan here. We have Lilith. We have Millie. And we have Gimbal, each on there, sitting around the table. Soon, the serving lady comes over. She brings you each a plate of breakfast. There's eggs mixed with ham. She brings cold mugs of light ale, and she brings water for Uthar, Wilnan, and she brings milk for Brim, and she explains to you, there'll be no charge for this on the house for all that you've gone through. Master Osler is quite grateful for you.
Who else is in the tavern with us?
So you see there are just regular-looking townsfolk here. You don't see the swordsman that you saw the night before. You see an elderly woman sitting off in one corner, kind of up here. You see what looks like a halfling and a middle-aged man sitting in the back, 2 serving ladies moving around. There's a standard sort of, what looks like he might be a farmer right there, gathering his morning breakfast.
You said there's a older aged man sitting alone?
Yes.
Is whether it be him or I guess anyone else that has a server next to them? I want to wait for a moment when one of the serving ladies is plopping something down next to someone.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And so as you're doing that, by the way, I don't know what's going on with our, hey, thank you very much for the subs. Thank you, Monkey Took My Jetpack, and congrats, Wicked Studios. Also, I don't know why, for some reason the alerts aren't firing off. I'm not even getting my mini feed.
Apparently that's been a problem with Twitch over the last couple of days. The alerts haven't been working properly, like you can't even see.
Blast you, Twitch!
Yeah, it's been a problem on other channels, so it's not just us.
The best lady, I do all the prep in the world I can, but I can't control everything, so we'll just have to watch that, but thank you very much. So yes, you see there is a serving lady. She walks over, and I'm reaching across the table here, but she walks over to this table, and as she does so, she's putting what looks like a plate full of breakfast at it. Now, what are you doing, Gimble?
So when she does that, or just as I see her going that way, I just want to kind of lean in and bring the attention of the group and say, I have this idea. And he'll just wait for that moment when she sets it down, and he'll use ventriloquism.
Okay.
First level spell.
Right.
And the serving lady that told Brim that hers, it's on the house.
Right.
He wants to, because it says that I can mimic a reasonable voice.
Yes,
So I just want to do that and cast it at that table. So it sounds like she is saying that to them about the bread.
All right, so that you hear exactly what he just described. As Rory concentrates, he quietly utters a symbol under his breath. He does something with his hands. By the way, Rory, I didn't send this over to you. Every first level spell is going to consume 3 gold pieces of material components. That's how we're going to handle it for first level spells. You don't have to manage your material components, but we're going to track the cost of those. So anytime you cast a first level spell, 3 gold out of your inventory. Okay, so you hear the serving waitress's voice again saying exactly the same thing that she had just said, and you see Gimble staring at her. You can clearly sort of connect he's done this. She looks startled. She looks up. What? I didn't say. What just happened?
I do think someone might be playing a bit of a prank.
Well, I'm busy. I don't have time for pranks. I was nice to you. Why are you bothering me? She looks at Gimble, who seems to be smirking.
He's just gonna stay quiet until she goes away. He's just gonna.
Okay. All right. So normal patrons sort of coming and going. You are each, as I said, served this breakfast. It's quite good. It comes about 20 minutes in that the door opens up and you see a man in uniform come walking in. You recognize he's wearing the same livery that you had from Lisden when you first received your commission at the Keep of Rufus and Burn. He's got the same, it's a sword and a staff that are crossed on the breastplate. And he comes walking into the tavern and scans the room for a moment. As he walks.
Curious, is the camera for the miniatures frozen for some reason? Because I feel like, at least on Twitch, I'm just seeing the same image.
You absolutely are right.
It is a still image.
Thank you very much.
I didn't see the lights earlier, but I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, all right. I can fix that super quick. Thank you for that heads up. There we go. All right, so he just walked in right here. This is the armored man that came walking in, and then you have the party back here. So let me go through that again. So there's Brim, there is Uthar or Wilnan, there is Lilith, Millie, Gimbal, and this is the serving lady that he just taunted. The armored man, he comes walking up. He looks like he's in his mid-30s, perhaps. Kind of got a serious-looking disposition. And he approaches the table. He says, "Excuse me, well met. You are the ones who encountered the difficulty here last night, yes?"
Yes.
I just have a few questions, if I may.
I guess.
He notices your reticence. He says, "My name is Galen Oschamp. I work under Lisden, as she's my lieutenant. And I had a few questions about what occurred last night. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you what happened, and what happened this morning as well." That was not him on the picture, by the way.
Well, I can probably elucidate things a little better about what happened last night, and then someone can fill in on this morning. Basically, what happened was I was sound asleep, minding my own business last evening, when a bolt, and she pulls the bolt that she had pulled out of the casing around the window out, when this found its way stuck into the side of my window, with this note wrapped around it. And there was this message saying that they had information about some of the people we had been dealing with. So, I went to see perhaps if I could find out what this information was, when I was beset by a very unsavory character in a black cloak and his little magic casting friend. Thankfully, I made it back inside the inn without taking too much pain to myself, and gathered the rest of my friends here to help me stop these people from killing myself or anybody else.
Did he say anything?
Oh, he was quite the chatty fellow, but he didn't tell me anything of use. He just liked to threaten people and say that, we were not going to have time to stop him from his plans or whatever. I don't know. It was all a bit of a flash. I was trying to not die.
He cuts a look over at the ogre, the half ogre, every once in a while, as though just the girth makes him a bit uncomfortable. He looks over at Wilnan. "You, sir, you have been spoken of by the lieutenant as a man of honor, a holy warrior, a holy man?"
I am a paladin of Heronius. As Millie has told you, we protected ourselves and captured the assassin. We were holding him because we knew not where else to take him, and felt it was wise to stick together. And we had him captured in my room. I watched over him during the night, and then apparently another assassin or someone with some kind of abilities created an illusion that made us think another one of our members was in trouble. When I ran out of the room, unfortunately the assassin's throat was slit, and his body is upstairs in my room as we left him. He was bragging about how we had somehow drawn the attention of some great group, which none of us have ever heard of. But if you're familiar with any kind of Assassin's Guild or some group that starts red something.
He arches a brow. Your story has the ring of truth. I think I know what's happened here. And it seems we may need to prevail upon your goodwill once more. We found out just shortly after you returned how our caravans with payroll were being waylaid. There have been betrayers in our midst, and the timing of the shipments was being revealed, and there is a group that has apparently made an outpost in a place that has been long abandoned now for over 40 years. The old moat house. You see Osler, he's been kind of listening as he's sitting behind the bar. He drops a mug. Oh, that old place, that was cleaned out a long time ago. And the soldier looks, he says, and so it had been, but we have recently learned that there is a group of brigands, some say even orcs or goblins, depending on the rumors that you hear, that have taken up residence in the old moat house. They're using it as a base of operations, and they seem to be behind not just the raiding caravans headed toward Kron, but other banditry that's been in this area. You have already proven yourself quite well adept. We would gladly recompense you if you would investigate this. If they prove to be too many or too dangerous, you can report back to us and we can seek aid from elsewhere in Verbabank. But I would appreciate it if you could see what's there and perhaps root them out.
Well, just one of their assassins and apparently an associated mage was quite a lot for us to try to handle last night. Even well-rested and well-armed, it does seem like it would be a bit of a challenge, which I am excited about, but I do not wish for me or my companions to lose our lives. What aid can you give us? We should not run into this in a foolhardy fashion.
It seems to me that your organization lacks a lot of loyalty amongst its ranks and the ability to actually be useful at all. So, if you're going to keep sending us on errands, it better count for something.
You see, he takes a dark look for a moment, and he almost seems to be growing angry. And then he stops himself. He pulls up and says, "No, you're right. That's fair. Our leaders, Rufus and Byrne, they've been away for some time in the Free City, and morale has been down. Lieutenant Lisden and I were doing all that we can, and there are loyal men here, but clearly we have more than we can handle dealing with our own ranks. What I do have is coin. Rufus and Byrne have given us ample coin for the needs of the city and its defense. What would you say to 50 pieces of gold each?"
And as at the mention of coin, Millie's whole demeanor changes. She's suddenly quite much more pleased to see this gentleman. 50 pieces of gold each, you say? Well,
I don't take lightly the challenge here, and I know it will be dangerous, to your point, Sir Knight. But with him, and he points at Brim, surely you would be all right.
It sounds as if you seek a covert mission, and as you can tell, they'd probably see us coming. So, what specifically are you asking us to do for this recompense?
Well, if you can go there, gain intelligence, scout them out, find out their strength and their numbers, and return the information back to us, I will give you half that coin. If you engage them, do damage, but return without having driven them out, I'll give you the full coin. If you're able to defeat them and root them out, I will double that coin. This is extremely important to our town. I fear they are going to destabilize all commerce in this area. If you can defeat them and give proof that you have cleared the moat house, I will give you each 100 pieces of gold. And in fact, here, you have proven yourselves trustworthy already. I will give this as advance payment. And he puts 5 sacks of coin he pulls out from his cloak. Each one has 25 pieces of gold in it.
All right. Well, Amelia immediately takes that and adds it to her collection.
I hold up a hand first, and I lean down to Uthar.
I've got a few questions for him, and I doubt he'll listen to a half-ogre. First, why would half-elves and elves or whatever be working with half-orcs, goblins, and the like?
We do have a question. Knowing that he heard this, I repeat the question anyway.
I tried to whisper it.
Verbatim.
All right, so we'll
He said.
yeah, all right. So he whispers it to you, and then he turns around and do you say it, Wilnan, or is it Brim that's saying this to him?
After Brim has said it to me, I turn and I repeat
Okay,
it
all
verbatim.
right. I won't make you roleplay that. So he looks at you and he says, "We've wondered the same thing. The man last night, half-elf, you say. It seems this organization, I believe you're trying to name the Red Lords. They seem to be a group of demi-humans and humanoids that are in league. We don't know their broader purpose, but as though our little town weren't troubled enough, they are increasingly a force to be reckoned with all around the Cron Hills."
I look at Brim, eyes up, eyebrows raised.
Wave my hand. Sure.
Apparently, we only had one question, and you answered it well.
He
You've engaged my services and those of my party who wish to partake.
all right. Is anybody else doing anything? Lilith, you've been a bit quiet. Anything else you wanted to say? I want to make sure you have an opportunity also.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Lilith will take half the money and give the other half to me. She knows how much I like coin.
You're going to be my best friend, darling.
He says, you can get supplies at the general trade. Also, if you see Brother Smith, he has weapons and he can do some light armor, although I doubt he would have anything that would fit you. He looks at Brim. He turns, he starts to walk away, and he stops himself, and he turns back to you and he says, wait, you, and he points at Lilith, you are a druid, yes? One of the forest?
Yes.
I also received a message for you. Have you seen our grove here, or have you spoken to Jeru?
No, I have not.
Jeru Ashtaff, he is he has been the druid here for some 50 years. He grows old in age. He heard that you were in town, a Greyhawk. He asked if he could speak with you.
And where might I find him?
In the grove. And Wilnan, you actually saw the grove when you headed off towards St. Cuthbert's a couple of nights ago. There was this gorgeous area of trees that were much taller than anything that you've seen in this area. There was a peaceful eminence coming from there. You saw it as you were, as I said, coming back from St. Cuthbert's. He looks at you and says, Lilith, your mic is a bit quiet as well. I noticed the same thing. So everybody else sounds good. I don't know if you can turn your volume up just a touch. But he says, he did ask if you could visit him before you left town again, you and your group.
Lilith will go visit him. It's not pressing for the group to leave right away.
I think we should take our time and prepare ourselves. I have business at St. Cuthbert's as well.
Okay, so he nods, he says, again, we thank you. your service will be noted. Someday Rufus and Byrne will return, and I'll make sure they hear of you.
Gimbo will just catch his attention before he leaves.
He starts to turn away. He stops again. He looks back at you. Yes.
I'm sorry. Do you have... It looks like you have, like, a marking or a badge. Is that correct? Something... You got something to identify you, right?
He nods. The staff and sword of Rufus and Byrne.
Yes. Do you... you have another?
Well... are you asking...
We're basically, like, working for you, right? So,
if you deputize us, perhaps it would be helpful for us to also bear the badge.
He chews his lip for a second. He says, I will take this up with Lieutenant Lisden. I'm assuming you're not setting off any time immediately if you're gathering supplies. I'll look for you back here at the inn.
Okay.
He kind of gives the gnome a quizzical look again, and he walks out. All right, so...
DM?
Go ahead. Yes.
I sent you a Discord message a little while
Thank
ago.
you very much.
I don't know if you missed that.
Yes, I did. Yeah, please call those out for me if you would. All right.
I didn't want to interrupt the RP. It was fun.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, I'll respond to that. And while I'm doing so you guys are back now. Osler comes walking over. Ashrin is also with you. She shakes her head. I can't believe the amount of things that have already befallen us. It's like there's bad luck that trails behind you. I don't want to give you the wrong idea, but I'm starting to question my involvement here as well.
Nay, it only affirms our purpose. Heronius is overlooking us, and we have important work to do. The fact that we have survived as long as we have, against the odds we have, that means we are meant for greater things.
I suppose that makes sense. If you follow such gods, I do believe in the power of gods, and I think they can work through men. I've even heard the name of Heronius on the lips of the half-ogre. Perhaps he will help us.
The half-ogre has a name, and it's Brim.
Oh, I meant no harm. Yes, Brim. All right.
Keep eating.
All right.
Lilith will head over to go to this room if everybody's not doing anything.
Okay.
She'll go by herself.
All right, so Lilith stands up. Lilith, you go ahead and address the group. If you are, or you're just going to walk out without saying anything?
No,
or?
she's just going to walk out.
All right, she just gets up and
Lilith, I did see where the grove was. Would you like an escort? I'm heading that direction.
If you fancy?
I will leave my bow in its place as we go.
This could be quite interesting.
Reluctant, but Lilith will agree.
Lilith, sorry. Before you go, if you don't mind me asking a question.
Okay.
I'm, of course, not one to ask about race, but what is a Greyhawk?
You have not heard of Greyhawk before?
Have I heard of Greyhawk before?
no, we're going to say you have not.
Yeah, didn't think so.
Okay.
No.
For another time, I must go and see the druid.
Okay.
This is a pattern. You notice she ducks these sorts of questions quite frequently. It's starting to become apparently a trend. All right, so is it just Wilnan and Lilith? Are we already on our second party split in our second session?
Yay.
I think I'm going to actually trail after the two of them. Because I'm a little bit worried about my little druid.
How much food is left unfinished at the table?
Quite a bit. I mean, you were interrupted halfway through the meal.
That's what I thought.
So Brim kind of gives you a nod as you walk out. Gimbal, what about you? Are you staying with Brim?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Brim, and being my stomach's already full and my plate's only half eaten, I'll just slide mine towards him.
I do grab a piece of bread on the way out.
All right, great. Okay, so you head back out, and we'll come back and forth between the two. And so Gimbal and Brim, you guys can take a moment to decide if there are other things that you want to do, because this will be a bit of an engagement for them. And as we do that, you walk outside, Lilith, and you see, well, of course, that Wilnan is with you. And as you start walking down the street, it's a cool morning. The sounds of town folk abound all around. It's a fairly busy morning. People walking to and fro, and you make your way down the mostly packed dirt, and someplace cobble-covered streets of Hamlet. The chill morning air is offset by a sun which is clear and bright and gives some warmth to you as you walk down the streets. And we'll pull back up here. And so we'll have each of you, I'm going to pull you out of there. And where are you going first? Are you headed, so you mentioned the Groves, you mentioned St. Cuthbert's, any place that you want to go. Again, so this is open world. So the DM has things prepared, but he is always ready to ad-lib whatever it is you want to do.
Presuming that Lilith doesn't necessarily want to converse, but I know where she's headed, I simply point out what direction we're going, and offer to just guide us to the Grove first.
Okay. Then you make your way. You see, again, Uthar does seem to have a pretty good sense of where this is at. As you head down the streets.
And along the way, even though we're in town, at every point I am checking alleys, checking windows. I am very much trying to take the position of keeping a lookout as we go.
Okay. I love having a paranoid party already in the second session. All right, so as you make your way, it just takes a few minutes. Hamlet is not a large town, and it's unmistakable. As you get closer, you can smell the sweet scent of flowers. There's a freshness, a vibrancy in the air, loam and soil. It just smells like a place of nature. You see these large trees sort of dwarfing the other structures of Hamlet, as though they have not only grown but thrived under the nourishment of the grove for all this time. And I'll show you as you head right away from St. Cuthbert's and head into the grove. You see, it looks something akin to this. Huge green trees, moss-covered vines and ropes. Everywhere there is verdant life, and you feel an immediate sense of peace as you step into the grove. Lilith, for you, you see Lilith as she steps in, she almost involuntarily stops and catches her breath for a moment, as though there's a connection that she feels to this place, beyond even her ken and understanding.
As Lilith kind of walks up, she'll kind of clasp that she wears a owl totem around her neck. She'll kind of just hang on to that as she kind of walks in. She typically, walking around town, she's very curious, and she's always kind of looking at things and investigating things as she kind of walks around and looks. But here, she just kind of walks in naturally.
Okay. You doing anything, Millie and or Wilnan?
I'm just going to kind of quietly follow behind Lilith. Not trying to disturb her, because I can tell, that she's sort of in having a moment. But I just want to kind of watch over her.
All right, so as
This is a beautiful and peaceful place, but I must attend to some business, and I will be listening if my help is needed. Please call for me, and I head off towards St. Cuthbert's.
the knight, apparently not a great lover of nature.
Nice
It's like,
trees.
oh, is this nice?
No, it is healthy for a bit of paranoia. By the way, thank you so much, everybody, for watching and following tonight. We are going to be taking a break in a few minutes, and when we come back off break, we're going to have a giveaway. We're going to give away a Blue Box T-shirt tonight. So we've had really good participation. We appreciate everybody watching us, and we'll take our break here in just a few minutes. And when we do, be a quick break, and we'll have that T-shirt giveaway. All right. So as Wilnan makes his way back out of the grove, you're walking through it for several moments. As you do, the sense of peace just continues to give you this refreshing and a lightness of heart. You hear a gruff voice that seems to carry but remain soft, echo through the woods. I am so glad you came. And you... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, she will just call out and ask, how did he know she was here?
The voice sounding a bit closer now. Oh, I can always sense those who are of the woods as I am. I am grateful that you heeded my call. And almost melding out from the trees as though he was part of the woods themselves, you see a man that looks impossibly old, his skin leathery and his brow white. He makes Osler Gondigut look like a young man. And he holds a staff in one hand. He has a laurel wreath holding back white hair. And you see he's actually sitting on what looks like a stump. And he has his hand on an enormous bear that has black fur, but it's heavily mingled with gray.
I'll approach him. Cautiously. I should just throw that in there.
He beckons you over. I am Drew Ashtaff. I have tended this grove for almost a lifetime. This is my faithful companion, Thumble. And as you look at the animal, it doesn't take, not Gandalf, it doesn't take much to see. This animal is in very bad shape. Its breathing is labored. It looks frail. Its girth from a distance. As you get closer, you see it's really bone and fur of a once massive structure now emaciated.
It looks injured or like of old age, kind of the bear.
It's tough to tell. You don't see any obvious injury.
Okay. Beware of the old men. I'll ask him if the bear is okay.
Oh, this is why partially why I called you.
He taps the bear.
These are his last days, but they have been hastened. I have kept him as well I could, using natural magics, not the unnatural prolonging of life practiced by the arcane. But even my magics wane, and now his death has been hastened by a bite. A bite from a very dangerous and very poisonous form of spider that has infested the caves that he used to call home.
Does he want to? Where are these caves?
He kind of nods and points over his shoulder.
I would ask my assistant, Dorib, but he also, as a druid of this grove, we are forbidden. We cannot kill anything that is not innately evil. These creatures, they're not evil. They simply seek to survive. But they're clearly too dangerous now, and they've grown to too large a size.
I would ask your help to do what I cannot do.
Have the spiders left the cave at all? Or have they just mostly stayed there unless provoked?
I have been finding dead animals, carcasses drained of all blood and life, increasingly ranging from the cave. I think they are becoming a greater danger. All right, it's your turn. Sorry, it's your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'll turn and look at Millie because I know Millie's with me. Reluctantly, because I know that she's like, I'm not going to have any interest in helping me because there's no gold involved.
Yeah, Jeru has made no mention of gold here.
No. I know that.
She's just been kind of leaning back against the tree nearby with her legs crossed and her arms crossed, just kind of observing. And you notice because she's wearing this long green coat, she almost kind of blends into the. Well, he did say we just needed to root these people out of where they were. Didn't say how quickly we had to do it. But it would probably be advisable to at least get the rest of our friends together. I would rather not go up against some spiders, just the two of us, personally.
Fair enough. She'll go back to Drew, is that his name?
Yes, Jeru.
Oh, Jeru?
Jeru, yes.
Jeru, okay. Lilith will tell him that she'll definitely want to help, but she'll need to gather more people to help her.
I fully understand. I would not want you to take unnecessary danger. I'll be here tending to my friend. You see the bear kind of barely moves. It lifts a forlorn head. You see a sentience in the eyes, but also an anguish. And it drops its head almost as quickly as it lifted. We're going to switch to Wilnan. So Wilnan, you find, again, the Church of St. Cuthbert. You open the doors, you walk in to a small but well-appointed sanctuary that looks akin to this. And as you walk in, you see a man, probably looks like he might be in his 50s, late 60s, or mid 60s. Not old, but not a young man by any stretch of the imagination. He wears a long robe, gray hair beneath a hat, and he comes shuffling forward towards you. I'll show you his picture here as well. So we do a lot of theater of mind here on Blue Box, but we also use the minis. We use the visual and auditory aids, audio aids, all of it for the more ambient experience. As he comes walking up, he looks at you and says, "How may I help you, my child?"
As a servant of Heronius, I seek to find some answers, and I wondered if you could ask some questions on my behalf. I also seek a blessing from St. Cuthbert.
I am Canon Calmet, and I will be happy to give you such a blessing. What questions do you seek?
Heronius will know the context. I simply have two questions. How much longer, and what must I do?
You see, he pauses. He looks at you for a moment. He stares, and then you see his eyes go wide. You have been touched.
I don't talk about that.
Hey, Tatooine 00. I'm both happy for the follow and happy that the alerts are apparently working now. So yay for Twitch. Something's going right. He says, "This was Heronius."
Indeed.
Then he will speak to your heart, faithful knight. You will know the day and the hour when your time has come and your penance paid.
I thank you. I'm not sure why I expected more. Please, for the for the poor box, and I drop some coin.
Okay, how much do you give him?
5 gold.
5 gold pieces. He takes it gladly. You see, he scoops it deftly into his robes. This is a man of the cloth who's become accustomed to caring for the needs of the sanctuary. It's obvious that he has no qualms about taking coin donated to the church. He thanks you. He lays his hand on your shoulder. May I pray for you, son?
Please.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. He bows his head. Oh, great Lord St. Cuthbert, a wielder of mace, hammer of justice, seeking out and destroying evil wherever it may be, providing judgment on behalf of law above all else. I ask your blessing on this faithful servant of Heronius. He's a man who has already shown himself of good heart and good valor. And I pray that whatever his endeavors are, that your hand would be with him, and may his blade find the justice swift against those that bring chaos to the land. He lifts his hand from your shoulder.
I thank you, and I stride out with my heart lifted.
All right, we're going to switch to Brim and Gimbal. So you're back in the Inn of the Welcome Wench. Again, you see just normal patrons kind of moving in and out. You do get just a number of stairs, Brim, but you're becoming quite accustomed to this. Anything else that you're doing?
Thank you, as I say to him after giving me his plate and kind of finishing that up. And
I was planning on heading to the blacksmith and seeing what he's got over there. Was hoping to go to the general store. What about you? I think you're muted, young fellow.
While Rory's getting his mute undone, I want to say thank you to all the viewers and followers. Thank you very much for the new subs. If you haven't followed us, please give us a follow. We're going to be heading to break here in just a minute, and we're going to have a giveaway when we come back. We're going to be giving away a Blue Box t-shirt. And thank you very much for the sub, Summer Jazz 93. And thank you for all the participation tonight by our great viewers. All right, back to you, Gimbal. The question to you.
Man, I don't really have much of anything planned. I could stay here, or if you want some company, I could come with you.
If that's all right, I would appreciate the company.
Yeah, I would like to do that. And you know, Brim and Gimbal, you see him just kind of like rub his hands together, feeling his sleeve as it's, down to his wrist. The other day you asked me what it's like to be a gnome. I didn't really answer you.
Oh.
But overall, it's good. We like each other. We're welcoming to each other, and really, we like other people. Like elves and humans and half orcs. What I'm saying is you're pretty cool.
As he's saying this, you see Wilnan comes walking back through the door.
Uthar, how'd it
Greeting,
go?
Brim and Gimbal. It went well. Has Lilith and Millie come back yet?
Not yet.
I see. I will wait here for them.
Gotcha. Gimbal,
Yeah.
how often can you do that thing you did with the bed sheets?
There's been times that's how I just cleaned for a long time.
A lot
pretty
of-
often.
Okay.
Why? Do you?
I just may ask for their services at times when we're not able to find ourselves around water.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely. He kind of plays it off like, of course that's what he meant.
Well, hey, that's outstanding. So you see, right as you're talking, you see that Millie and Lilith come walking in. I want to say also thank you, Summer Jazz 93. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. And I didn't call him out earlier, but good to see Atris Minis. Atris has been a longtime sponsor of the show, and he has the most fantastic addition to our mini, and I'm holding my hands correctly for the size of this mini that's coming, and will be appearing on a Greyhawk Awakening stream near you sometime soon. The two ladies come walking in the door.
Alright, they're here now.
Lilith, normally quiet and hanging back, will approach the group and ask if they are willing to help. She'll address everybody and she'll look at Uthar and make sure his crossbow is put away still.
She's not letting you live that one down.
We are the Wayward Bolt for a
Have
reason.
it no other way.
She'll look specifically to Brim, thinking that she can convince Brim most out of everybody, and ask if they're willing to do a quick detour and help the druid. There's a druid in the that needs some help, and I'm very urged to help. Would you guys be willing to help me?
Brim will sit back a bit. And he visibly looks a little uncomfortable.
Huh.
It's not a panzer this time, I promise.
What? Have the monsters or these creatures, the spiders, have they truly done anything wrong by inhabiting the area?
They're taking over and becoming a danger in the forest.
What did they do to this bear you mentioned?
They attacked the bear. That was the bear's cave at first, and then they took over. But apparently the spiders have been coming out and attacking more things, becoming more vicious in the forest.
Oh, if we were able to seal up the cave,
I guess
would the bears be able to find another area to find home?
that wouldn't be a bad idea. We could go over there and ask if that would be something that we could do, depending on how big the cave is.
I leave this wholly up to you, since you are the one that's been asked this. So you will helm this. At least that's my belief on this. Lead by example, you know.
Lilith will. I think it's worth investigating, and if it's sealable, we can try that.
Okay.
I'll definitely need your strength.
I'll be happy to help. I just never have will to kill innocent creatures that are living by their own law.
Fair enough. Lilith will look in some of her pockets and pull out. I don't know what she has. She'll pull out her fork, her bent fork, and give it to Brim. And like, as you look at it with disdain, she's looking at it with like, that is like the best thing in the entire room. She's like, why are you taking it? It's amazing.
It's not disdain. He's just very confused. It just looks like disdain on a half ogre's face.
Yeah, very difficult to tell. The tusks get in the way.
Quite a nice gesture, and I will say that for my guilt, I certainly will be happy to assist in any way I can.
Would that be for the Wayward Bolt, or would that be for charging into her room in the morning, not even knowing if she was clothed?
I've lost track.
When Brim was talking about like protecting people that are protecting creatures that are living innocently by their own law, Millie was kind of scanning him, trying to puzzle out this very interesting fellow.
Yeah, the most unusual half ogre ever. I'm quite confident. All right.
And that says a lot because Millie's encountered a lot of interesting, strange people along her time. So.
That's exactly right. Okay, so fantastic. We're going to take our break right there, but before we take our break, couple things for the audience. One, we have some questions on our show times. I don't know, Evelyn, if you can kind of pop that in the channel. The Lore Master Arcanum was being asked about Hagar. I'd love to talk to you about that as well. But you can put that in there. 6 o'clock tomorrow is the normal time for that. It's just a quick 1-hour show. Tomorrow night, we're going to be focusing on backstories. We had a great lively discussion on it last week. We're going to get deeper into different types of backstories, the way a DM can use them, how to help your players craft those stories in a way that makes sense, how you can then tie those in more, less, ways that you can really make them feel alive and connect them to the campaigns. And we're going to get all kinds of, there's a lot of DMs that tune in on Wednesday nights for that show. So we get ideas from other dungeon masters. It's a fun kind of action-packed 1-hour show. That'll be tomorrow night. But we're going to go to our break, and as we go to our break, I'm just really pleased for our second show, not having a big giveaway. Lots of followers already that have come on tonight. We're sitting right around the 50 viewer mark, which is great for a second stream. We're very thankful. We're going to give away a Blue Box t-shirt as a thank you to all the viewers, and we'll be doing that right after this break. We're going to leave the player mics hot, so if you guys want to chat with the viewers during that time, I'll go to the Be Right Back screen, and this will be about a 7-minute break or so. Won't be long at all, so stay with us. And again, if you haven't followed us yet or you haven't subbed, we have just one question for you. What are you doing? Quick break. Hey, thank you for the follow, Emerald the Gamer 123. And don't listen to that 10 minutes. I'm going to shorten that up. It's not going to be that long. Let's go 36. Boom. There we go.
I will be right back.
Same.
Thank you, Grumpy765. Not sure why you're grumpy, but we're glad you're here.
You could say I need to squeeze the lemon.
I guess
Or we could just not say anything at all, Brim.
But maybe not.
But why?
he's unusual and he likes lemonade.
Yeah, gosh, that's all I was talking about.
Milk
Guys,
and lemonade? That's the two things.
What's wrong with you?
I double
Oh.
fist.
Together.
He's got one lemon.
Lemonade.
Yeah, you put like the lemon piece on the side of the glass where you're drinking the milk.
Yeah, let it curdle your milk.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's good. You saw a guy eat curdled milk with tang? Ugh. His face. I can't hear you.
That's nasty.
I just saw your face like in the small when I read it out loud. It was gross. Hey, do you guys know where to get the music from? I don't know. That is a question for John. For the background music that we have. I just want to say that I sent it to Kills Party. Not my fault. Uh-oh. What did you send to the DM? That's gonna kill us. I don't like that. I don't like that emoji. Crouch! Crouch!
Hello.
Oh, he's back. Stop talking about him.
Ah, dang it. This always happens. Also, have you guys ever tried like store-bought kale chips?
You can make them at home, and they're
I know they're delicious at home. Store-bought are horrendous.
yeah. So I make them at home, and you can make like a huge batch. And it's so cheap. And
Hey, Josh.
So easy too.
I'm sorry. Did you say kale chips? We don't allow that kind of language on this show.
Too healthy. Get out of here.
No, I know that he's a pretty healthy guy.
Yeah, it's been. I haven't been in the gym as much during the quarantine though. That's been kind of, and really, I don't have any excuse now. I kind of lost some of my mojo. I got to really get that going again. Yeah, so we're running 3.5 here as our core, but a ton of 1E, 2E stuff. So everything from our initiative system, certain parts, the way combat and movement happen, some of our spell effects, a lot of the ways I run checks. There are a host of first and second edition features to this campaign. And then we do pull forward one 5E element, which is advantage. And so you can I can give advantage as the DM, which I give when there are moments of extraordinary roleplay, or you as a viewer, if you cheer 200, you can grant advantage to any of the players. And I do believe Gimbal still has 2 advantages from last time because he was asleep and could not use his advantages.
Yes, that is true.
So quick question for the players here, so I can, this is always the challenge of being a kind of an open world DM. If I have a sense of where you think you might be going next, are you going back to the Grove, you think, next? Or do you think you're going, I know there was some talk of going to a smithy or something else that I'm not, if you can give me a sense of it, if I have a way to prep for it, I will.
Lilith will try to persuade the group to go to help the druid. And it seems that she has convinced Uthar to go based on guilt.
Okay.
So I would say that is accurate.
And Millie, because Lilith keeps giving her money, so.
Lilith is the mastermind behind the party. I think we're making decisions.
But you're not really.
No.
I got you on guilt. I got you on money.
It's an adventure on rails.
I got you on fork.
That's hilarious.
On rails, but not one that's the DM's.
Yeah, that's right. The DM's not putting it on the rails. That's fantastic. So it's really guilt and greed. 2 classic motivations that Lilith has tapped into here.
Yes, they are.
Although quiet, she's very observant.
Personally, I would love to go to the Grove to get a bit more info and then do a bit of shopping and then head out, or quickly do some shopping at some time before then and then go to the Grove and then go on the adventure.
Sure, absolutely. That is all completely up to you.
And I just sent you a list of all the things that I'd be looking for.
All right.
Yes, a boat. A boat would definitely be one of them, and I'm waiting for it to happen.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen a half-ogre pirate? No.
No.
That would be an odd.
Millie's interested.
Yeah, I was like, Millie.
A boat, you say? Well.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I think you're going to be waiting a long time for that in this campaign.
We're a bit landlocked at the moment.
How about a flying ship? DM?
Yeah, that kind of conversation, that's the quickest way to get yourself killed in this campaign.
I did not say anything. That was all Josh.
Throw me under the cow, why don't you, guys?
I was thrown under the cow as well.
You need some milk. Come on. I mean, you missed it. Last session I missed like every single time other than the last round or two.
Yeah, there was that.
That was ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Did I get any kind of healing benefit when I was visiting the either the Grove or the
True. We're not
Yeah, no, great. Thank you for asking that. So, sorry, go ahead.
Ashwin still has those 2 health potions as well.
She does, and you did not get any healing in the Grove, but I forgot to mention to you, yes, you did get 3 hit points back from the blessing you received at St. Cuthbert's.
Cool, thank you.
17, 16. Who wants to do the 10-second with me?
I will.
And we'll be right back on video here in just a second, doing a little bit of last-minute prep for the cam here.
Happy New Year!
We went 2 totally different routes, but both good.
All right, and I'm going to bring us back here. All right, and we're back from break. Thank you so much for staying with us over the break. And yes, absolutely, Lurkenstein, waiting for something to happen to Brim so we can say he needs some milk. That's exactly right, Reed. So we're going to go ahead and do a giveaway. We have an awesome Blue Box shirt that we're going to give away, and that shirt bears the logo on it. It actually is this logo that you see right up here on the screen. It's our own Blue Box logo, and we are going to be giving that away. So I'm going to bring up the bot, and mixing systems is great. Create your game in the way. Yeah, exactly. And I'm familiar with both of those. I've heard good things about CNC also. So I'm going to bring up the Nightbot. Or do you have the Nightbot up there by chance, Evelyn?
I do not. It doesn't work properly on my tablet.
Okay.
So.
All right. So this will just take a quick second here. And let me customize the giveaway. And we're going to put a keyword in there. And the keyword is going to be !shirt. And shirt needs to be capitalized. So it's capital SHIRT, !shirt. So if you'll type that in the chat, you'll be entered in the giveaway for one of our super cool Blue Box shirts. By the way, we don't have a merch store. And I honestly don't anticipate us having a merch store, certainly for the foreseeable future, probably never. I certainly do like the contributions that were given here because we use those for sets and minis and camera upgrades. In fact, I'm going to talk about some exciting things that we have coming to the stream. But I only want the Blue Box gear to be things that you get as being a participant on the show, as someone that's in with us and viewing. I don't want it to be something that just is purchased on an online store so I can make a quick buck. That's not of interest to me. All right, so we got several that are entered. So far we have Bloodwild, Redbeard, Evarnsara, Hagar the Horrible, Krenzelin, Lurkenstein, Mystical Unicorn Painting. All right, good. I'm seeing Rock Safari's Retro Gamer, Phantom NJ, The Drunken Heretic, Grumpy 765, all of you are in. All right, so the minis. These minis, there's different paints that we have on these minis, but some of the best ones I have are from Atris Minis. Atris Miniatures was in the chat, and he is fantastic. So I do some mini painting myself. I am fair to middling at best. And then, of course, Evelyn paints minis. Lilith paints minis.
I do not. That's a lie.
But Phoebe does.
Okay, so I think we're ready. We've got several. We'll give it just another 20 seconds for any other viewers that want to jump into the shirt giveaway. And then we'll get right back to the exciting Greyhawk Awakening Blue Box action.
Hey, DM, quick question.
Sure.
Was it a yay or nay on the thing I sent you?
Oh, so I'm going to show you how you responded to me. Let me see. Oh. Okay, hang on here. All right, I have responded. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, and here we go. Rolling the die in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, Satcher Scorn, good evening to you. And the winner of the t-shirt is... Drunken Heretic! Congratulations to the Drunken Heretic. he is a new follower here, just followed us a couple days ago on Blue Box. Oh, yep. And fantastic. Congrats to the Drunken Heretic. All right, so if you would, go ahead and whisper to me in Twitch or go on to our Instagram account. If you're not already following us on Instagram, we're BlueBoxRPG on Instagram, and just drop me a DM with your name and your address, and we'll get that shirt out to you ASAP. And with that done, we're going to jump back into the action. All right, so is the party doing anything else before you go to the Grove?
Brim said he wanted to go shopping.
Do you want to do that first, or?
We can go, might as well.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and roleplay it.
Yeah.
Which do you all prefer? I mainly want to window shop one place and pick up a few necessities, but depending on what they say at the Grove, we may need to pick up a bit more before our journey, depending on the day's travel.
Well, Brim, I think picking up some necessities would be good. But more than anything, if you need someone to haggle for you, I do enjoy haggling quite a bit.
That would be helpful.
Save you some gold, perhaps?
All right, so I'm going to help with this part of it. If we're talking, I'm looking at some of the items you have listed here. These would all be sort of general store or the Hamlet trade store. And so I think that will be handled between sessions. And we can do that on the Discord channel. So if you haven't followed our Discord, check us out on the Discord. I'll drop that in again in the chat. And we actually have a store in there called the Hamlet, what do I call it? Hamlet Trade, and I forget what I named it now. It is the original Hamlet Supply and Trade. And so that will be role played by one of our own viewers, Pat66. He operates as the Keep, and I've given him some instructions based on that role play. But if anything is critical...
And we've already been conversing in there.
Yeah, there's already some conversing. But anything that's critical, if you need it for this session, that's fine. Go ahead and just take it out based on the prices that I posted there. But if you want weapons or armor, or if you want to trade gems or other things like that, those would be separate things we will role play on stream. Okay? All right. So what are you doing?
Let's head to the Grove, get more info.
All right.
If everyone's okay with that.
Yep. Lilith's eager to go. She'll get up and walk and head out.
Okay. All right. Lilith seems quite anxious. At the mere mention of agreement from Brim, she jumps up out of her chair and moves quickly toward the door.
Wait for me. And I just kind of go after her.
Okay. All right. So you make your way through the streets. We'll get straight there. Same thing I described earlier. As you approach the Grove, the rest of you feel that same sense of peacefulness that I referenced before. The trees are towering. The morning sun now is sitting midway in the sky. The smell not only of the foliage, but the rich loam of the earth. It's a resonance in your nostrils. As you step into the Grove, you all feel this same sense of peace and healing.
I would like to leave my maul after the outside of the Grove in respect.
Okay. You see Brim turns and he takes this giant club. It's like 7 feet long it's got a huge piece of a stool that's attached to the top of it. It's a fairly makeshift implement, and he sets it down right at the edge of the Grove.
Lilith will kind of lead the way with the group without hesitation, walking and find. I'm assuming he would be in the same spot.
Yeah, so you already feel as though you know this place, and you find Jeru. He's sitting in the same place. You notice the bear's breathing is even more shallow now. There's a sadness in the eyes of the druid as he looks up at you, and he says, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you've returned. I thank you for your willingness to aid. I fear Thrumble's time grows short." So you see this now for the first time, what I described to them earlier. But just for the sake of viewers, I'll say it again quickly. You see this ancient old man, hair tied back with a laurel wreath around his head, a staff gnarled and knotted in his hand. His skin looks leathered, wrinkled, His brow knotted, but there's a kindliness and a gentleness to his eyes. He looks up and introduces himself to you. I am Jeru Ashtaff. I thank you for coming. I have tended these groves for an entire lifetime. I cannot lay hand upon any creature that is not implicitly evil, but this must be dealt with.
Lilith will kind of go down on her knees and and pet the bear, and ask if there's any more information she can get about the spiders and or the cave.
So, yeah, he says, I think there are at least 2 or 3 that I've seen. The cave is just 100 yards that way, he points. You'll see it quite easily. Be careful. They are dangerous.
And the opening of the cave? What does it look like?
You'll see covered with moss on the sides, a large opening. It will be easy to see.
Too large to close it up? We're wondering if we could close the cave up and trap the spiders inside.
He rubs his chin for a moment. Oh, an ingenious idea. But how would you do such a thing, and to what purpose? To lock them in would be to kill them as surely as to crush them with sword or staff. Slow starvation hardly seems a kinder end.
She'll turn and look at Brim.
How did they get there in the first place? Spiders are known to be able to burrow.
I don't know. I've never seen this species before in this area. It's a kind I am not familiar with, but they clearly are simply hungry. He pats
Any possibility to relocate?
He pats the bear again on the head. Be gentle, old friend. Relocate. If you have the means to catch them, by all means. There is no bloodthirstiness, even for what they have done to my friend. It is the way of nature. But I just cannot leave them here to present a danger to others.
That's a conundrum of many sorts. What about you guys? Your thoughts on the matter?
Lilith is obviously eager to help. She'll look at Grimble and Wilnan. Or Uthar.
Well, Brim, if what you said is right, and they can dig or burrow, then perhaps closing the cave is just capping it's just going to explode with more later. Perhaps we can relocate them, but I don't know where to take them.
What do spiders fear of these kind? Is there anything in particular, sounds or earthquakes or anything at all that just by nature these spiders fear?
Inquisitive. They have no natural predators here. This is why I have sought your aid. But clearly, no spider has a liking for flame. There you go, Roxafarius.
Kill them with fire.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have much choice if they are taking away the lives of many others within the forest. It's better to kill one than many, I guess.
Lord Foth's idea is a good one. Unfortunately, you are fresh out of supply of giant birds.
We can't go procure one in town. How much does a giant bird cost?
More money than we have right now.
Lilith will kind of sit there and still, like, on her knees, petting the bear. She seems eager to go if she can convince her team. Trapping the spiders. Either way, we need to get rid of them.
Great.
I have no love for spiders, and it would not bother me to eradicate them entirely, but if you seek a way to drive them off without killing them, perhaps if there's some illusion or something where you could create something that would be there to drive them off related to fire. I have no knowledge of these things, but it seems clear that we don't have very many options.
Well, I'm just here to lend my sword, so whatever everyone else decides.
We can go and check it out and see what it looks like. Yes.
What is your preference?
My preference is to help the druid. He has asked me to get rid of the spiders, and as a fellow druid, I am likely to oblige. I would like to help.
What does that mean to you, though? To what end?
I don't know. She just wants to help regardless. I think because of the bear that's sitting there all injured, she feels more of an urgency to help.
So if we get into a tight spot,
I'll yell panther.
what I mean is, if we get into a tight spot, it's okay if the spiders stop. If we kill them.
Yeah.
In your opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the one leading us into this particular area, I find it best for you to make that decision.
I am okay. If we are being attacked, we can attack back.
Okay.
So does that mean yes?
Yes, yes, that means yes.
So, to clarify, our plan is to put ourselves in danger with these spiders and then kill them in self-defense.
Exactly that.
That sounds like proper justification.
Yes, 100%.
No, I think the idea is that if we can, perhaps I can put them to sleep, or perhaps we can relocate them, and if we are unable to feed them and befriend them, if they don't want to be our friend, then they die.
Yes, correct. Friend or death, take your choice.
So our goal then is to
remove them,
knock them out.
I just don't know. Even if we relocate them,
that they'd come back.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That is why I put this on you, Lilith.
What were you saying, Brim?
Go ahead, Brim.
Aru, are you able to speak with animals? You seem a man of nature. I've heard of a thing in the past.
I certainly can. My affinity is generally more with those larger animals, birds. Insects are tricky creatures. I've tried communicating with them. Their minds are simply ravenous.
Birds, you say? Large birds?
He arches a brow at you. If I take your meaning, we have no birds of that size here. How did a Greyhawk come to be in Homlet? Where is your tribe?
I'm not sure where my tribe is. I've lost them. She kind of speaks more quietly, knowing that the group is around.
You think you are lost? Huh? A druid, especially a Greyhawk, is never lost. If you could not find your home, it was the forest's way of telling you it was your time to venture out.
And venture out I did. I don't have plans to return home anytime soon. As she says quietly.
Can I overhear any of this?
I'm kneeling right by the bear.
You can catch little snatches. You realize she's talking about her home, but you can't hear exactly.
All right.
How far? How many days travel is it?
Days travel. Oh, perhaps distances don't mean much to you. I said it's just several paces this way, through that copse of trees.
Oh, it's here.
Well, yes, it's in my grove. Why would I care about spiders somewhere else?
I wasn't sure if he came down to you.
Oh.
Great. All right.
As the group is kind of deciding, she feels like they're a little bit hesitant. She'll get up and start to walk towards the cave.
All right, so Lilith, as you take your hand off of the bear, you can feel the life force slowly draining from him. You can feel he probably has just hours to live.
She'll lean, like before she gets up, she'll lean down and just put her forehead against the bear's forehead and then kind of get up and then walk away.
All right, is everybody following her or somebody doing something different?
Yeah, I'm following her.
Okay. All right.
Look at Brim and shrug and follow after.
So Brim, I don't want to assume. Do you retrieve your maul?
I retrieve my maul.
You see, Brim looks very disturbed. He's resigning himself as though he were about to, slay a member of his own family. He just seems to be deeply disturbed by this. You make your way back through the trees. You pass the druid. He's leaning over, whispering in the ear of his companion. And you come, the distance he described, you come through a thick copse of trees, and you see a cave. Looks something akin to this. And by the way, one of the upgrades I mentioned, I have brand new battle maps. They were supposed to be here last week. The wrong one came, so I reordered. I've got a bunch of new stuff coming in. We're going to continue leveling up audio, video. We're going to level up everything but the players. They're already awesome. The DM's going to keep leveling up a little bit too. He needs to improve. The players, they're fantastic. All right, so you see each of you stand in front of it here, and the cave opening here.
Would I be able to listen to see if I could hear anything?
Sure. Go ahead and roll D20. Add your perception for me.
Let me just pull up my sheet here. Okay. 15, 19?
Yeah, you can actually hear as you're listening, there's a chittering and scurrying sound inside the cave.
I think the spiders are in here.
And that would be the logical assumption, I would say.
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do we want to go and? Well, I mean, I'm not completely blind, but I mean, do we want to have light or no?
Do you think light would attract the spiders?
Well, I might push them away. Or attract them. Maybe both. There's like 4 of them. I could make 4 things. I think it's 4 still in 1E.
It's 4.
Okay.
It's 4.
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
Lilith will go ahead and say that she'll go first to try to scope it out.
So Lilith,
light.
So Lilith, you're going to walk in the cave?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm just discussing with the group that she can take the lead.
Millie's going to look around on the ground, see if she can spot a branch or something.
Sure, branches everywhere.
Okay, she's going to pick up a largish one, and she's going to take the flint and steel that she bought in town before they left and light the top of it.
Okay. It's difficult to light. It's, all the wood here is quite damp. There's a lot of moisture in the grove. But after a couple of minutes of effort, you do manage to apply enough fire to light it.
Perhaps this might be of help.
Lilith will kind of look at the cave and then look back at Brim, just trying to size up whether or not he can maneuver in there properly.
Yeah, so he'll have to hunch down, to get in. The cave entrance is only about 6 feet tall. But, kind of peering in, it looks like it opens up inside.
All right. Well, shall we?
Yes.
Not all at once, my friend.
So do you enter in, or are you doing anything else, or this is the tough part of this is tough part. Like this is you guys got to tell me what you want to do.
Do you feel confident leading the way, or would you rather someone else go first?
If someone can maintain some kind of light where I can see, I can lead the way. I assume we're just trying to eradicate all spiders, or?
I can give you this torch that I just made.
If you can keep it up above, I would prefer to have the use of both my shield and sword.
Again, I could make these 4 light balls of light if you want. I think, or I can make it 1, or I could just wait or just not cast it at all.
I think the lights would be a good idea, Grimmel.
Might be good to have both. After all,
Uthar, you can take the front. Although I would say I would be safer behind, but
You might want to be a couple people behind, not just right behind. I think you were behind him last time.
I know, that's what I was
I
was behind before, and I still didn't stop that wayward bolt.
I will follow behind Uthar. My reflexes are a little better, I think.
Okay.
All right, so
Can I be between you, Mealy, and Brim? If you're going to be in the back, I don't know where you're going to be. Basically, I don't want to be in the back or the front.
I would like to sandwich myself as well.
Take the back.
Thank you,
So
Brim.
then put Lilith and Gimbal in the middle.
okay. So you each make your way into the cave. Brim, you duck down under. You see, as you come in, and I'm going to switch cameras here, and don't adjust your lights at home. We are.
Quick OC, paladins, do they have any kind of resistance or anything related, at least at level 1, to poison?
Not to poison, nope. Good question.
Oh boy.
No, just to to evil and things like that. Not to poison. There is no innate resistance. Dwarves would be the only race that possess any sort of innate hardiness against poisons. All right, and so Ashrin, she steps in last. I don't like spiders, and I don't like caves very much either. You step in, and as you move into the cave, you see
the lights have been cast. The group, if I understood right, the group wanted the
yes.
I have the torch up front and the dancing lights up.
So you've got lighting, sufficient lighting in the room. It's still a cave, but you can see as you step in, you see there are a couple large spiders here in the back. They're each about 4 feet long, gray carapaces, and there's webbing in the back, and they're scurrying around. They twist and turn toward you, but neither one have moved to advance yet.
Well, let's get this over with. And I move forward to swing at the first one.
Okay.
You all observe what they do.
Brim's hand. All right. All right. So.
I'm just holding the torch out.
Yeah. All right. So if you can see here, so Uthar, you're going to advance toward the first one. Let's go ahead and let's roll initiative.
How many spiders are there? I can't really.
You see 2 right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. And D6 on initiative. Let's have, Uthar, since you're advancing, let's have you roll. The DM has a 5.
I have a 4.
All right. As soon as you begin to advance, the spiders both leap. They're surprisingly quick and agile. They bound forward several feet, and they pounce upon Uthar. They both attack. All right, remind me of your armor class, Uthar.
18.
All right, so Wilnan with the 18.
4 against spiders.
Okay.
Special spider immunity.
The first one, as it leaps at you, you knock it away with your shield. The second one, you feel the fangs bite, but they catch armor. They do not penetrate. We're going to go to Uthar now. Go ahead, Wilnan, you can attack.
Nat 20.
Well, okay, that's a good way to start the combat. Go ahead and roll to confirm.
7.
And your total bonus to hit?
Sorry, with total bonus is actually, so that would have been a 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 3 is 11. 11.
Okay, that is not a crit, but it is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. And damage is 6.
6 points. All right. You strike the first spider. Hisses. You lop off 2 of its legs. It scrabbles around, grows more aggressive. Now let's go to Mary Millie. Millie, what are you doing?
All right, so I'm going to advance forward to be to the side of Uthar, and I'm actually going to take this torch that I have and kind of toss it amongst the spiders to see if it can get them to scatter.
All right, so you're kind of tossing the torch next to where Wilnan is?
Well, I don't want to throw it next to Wilnan. I'm trying to throw it kind of amongst the spiders, away from him.
New name. New name for our
Wayward
group.
bodies.
Wayward flame.
All right, so you toss the torch, and it lands guttering. Let's now go to Gimbal. Gimbal, what are you doing?
Does it take an action to move my lights in this?
No,
Okay. So I would like to take 2 of them and take these glowing globes and stick one on each side of Uthar, and stick the other 2 to our east and west, our left and right, just to kind of illuminate our area and to hopefully scare the spiders that are right next to him.
Okay, so between the torch and the lights, you're continuing to get a bit brighter in here. What are you doing, Brim?
In 3.5, do you have the action where you can use your action just to aid, just to help people?
Yeah, just tell me what you want to do.
I just want to aid Uthar.
Okay, meaning, what do you mean by aid him? What do you want to do?
If a spider was to jump out at him and catch him by surprise, I'd like to use my maul to kind of push him to another area so it misses him.
Okay, so you're kind of standing there. He's clearly engaged with these 2, so are you trying to just sort of intervene on his behalf without actually attacking?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
With my 10-foot reach, I would like to try and stay away from the creatures, but still moving him if needs be.
All right, the half ogre lumbers up and he sticks the giant maul in between Wilnan and the first of the spiders. Lilith, what are you doing?
She will cast Calm Animal. Is that on the? I'm just on the list here.
Yeah, sorry, what are you casting? You were a little bit quiet.
Oh, Calm Animals.
Oh, calm animals, okay.
Yeah. Duration 1 minute. Close to the range is 25 feet. Targets animals within 30 feet of each other. Saving throw will negate DC 14.
Okay. So DC 14, and you're casting it where sort of centered on those 2 spiders?
Yes.
Okay, what's the range on that?
25 feet.
25 feet, okay.
Yeah.
You see the spider that was not damaged. You don't know whether it's the light or whether it is your spell, but it actually starts to scurry back away from Wilnan. Now, Wilnan, that can provoke an attack of opportunity if you choose to strike it.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, go ahead and roll to hit.
7.
Okay, so that's total of 11. All right, so you, okay, it's quick. Your sword clatters against the ground as it scurries away. Gimbal, did I get all your action, or was there something else you were doing?
Oh man, that caught me off guard just now. There was something else. He would like to position himself just behind Uthar, with these spiders, with Uthar between him and the spiders.
So you're positioning yourself where?
Right behind Wilman.
All right, so you're right behind him. Okay. All right.
And that's it.
Okay. As you do this, let's roll initiative again. And you lost last time, Wilnan. So now we're going to go to Brim. Brim, you're going to roll initiative. DM. Oh, a 1.
4.
All right, you have it. So since you've won initiative, as you're advancing, you see this one spider that's crawling away. You see from the corner of your eye, you see 2 more dropping down from behind Lilith. They were up on the ceiling and they dropped down directly behind Lilith right here. And new round, we go, we're going to go to Wilnan first again.
I try to finish off the one in front of me.
Okay, roll to hit.
12, 16.
That's a hit.
All right. I do 5 damage.
Okay. Your sword sticks. The spider's legs splay out and then it curls up in on itself and dies. Now we go to Mary Millie.
Did I perhaps catch the other spiders coming in?
Yeah, go ahead and roll d20 for me, please. You've got your back to them, but
That's a 13 plus my perception.
Sure, yeah. So you didn't see them, but you heard them, and you you glance over your shoulder. You see them dropping right behind Lilith.
Okay, well then I'm going. Do they seem to be menacing towards her, like they're going to attack her?
Oh, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
they
I'm
are.
going to turn and move towards them, and I'm going to attack them.
All right, that's easy movement for you. Go ahead and roll to hit.
All right, with my rapier first. Okay, that's terrible. That's an 11, and then
Total of 11?
yeah, total
Okay.
11, and then with my dagger, that's a 12.
Okay. No, so they're quick. You strike. It scurries out of the way. One turns to engage you. One still engaging Lilith. Now let's go to Brim.
Seeing that Uthar doesn't really have any creatures on him anymore, I'm just going to slowly back up to healer female's name.
Ashrin.
Ashrin, thank you. Back to Ashrin and just protect her if she needs it, as I just watch on this full scene with wide eyes.
Okay, all right. So you, hang on here, let me grab that. So you move back to Ashrin. You see she has her staff out and she's uttering a prayer. So you kind of stand in front of her, shielding her. And next we'll go to Gimbal.
And is he able to, he wants to move, what he wants to do is cast Color Spray on the spiders alone.
Okay. The 2 spiders that are attacking Lilith and Millie, or
Correct.
yeah?
Yes.
Yes, you can do that. So you're gonna kind of move yourself. That's just about a 7-foot movement. Here,
I
have a
just
good
don't wanna
angle.
accidentally get them.
Yeah, okay. All right, what's the DC on that?
It's instantaneous, vivid.
Yeah, just for everybody's benefit. Go ahead.
It just does right away.
Yeah, go ahead and read out the description so everybody knows what they're seeing too.
A vivid cone of clashing colors spring forth from your hand, causing creatures to become stunned, perhaps also blind, and possibly knocking them unconscious. Each creature within the cone is affected according to its HD. 2 HD or less, 3 or 4 HD, and 5 or more HD.
Okay. So what's the effect if they are 2 HD?
That would be the creature is unconscious, blinded, and stunned for 2d4 rounds, then blinded and stunned for 1d4 rounds, and then stunned for 1 round.
Okay, and that's a DC or what's
Only
this?
leaving the creatures are knocked out.
There's no DC. It's just based on hit dice, right? Yeah. Okay. Just same as 1E, which I like. Okay. All right. So you see the gnome shift over. He utters an arcane syllable. Go ahead and remove 3 gold from your inventory for your materials as well. And as he does so, he holds out his hand. You see prismatic light and color fill the room as he does so. The sound of magical power, and suddenly all 8 of the spider's eyes take these colors in, and they stagger back and they fall over stunned. Lilith, what are you doing?
So there's 2 spiders that are stunned,
And there's one that's retreating away from Wilnan.
Are they stunned or unconscious?
They're unconscious. Sorry, they're unconscious. Yes, they are
Unconscious, blind, and stunned.
Correct. All the above.
Lilith
But
will kind of look around and see if there's any other immediate danger as the spiders seem to be.
You don't see anything, although this spider, which has now backed itself into a corner, you still see its eyes glittering hunger. But it's pulled away.
I'll go over there then, I suppose. And I'll attack it with my quarterstaff.
Oh, okay. All right, so Lilith, you're going to advance. Your movement will take you to get there, so that'll be your round. And we go to initiative. And you won last time, Brim, so you go again.
All right, that's a 3.
DM has a 2. You have initiative. So Lilith is the one in melee combat. You go first, Lilith.
Okay, so I'll attack with the quarterstaff. Where am I here? 13.
13, okay, just misses. Thunk! Your staff hits the ground. The spider skids back just a little bit further from you. Now we're going to go to Wilnan.
Am I close enough to advance and attack?
Yeah, you are just close enough to be able to do that.
I start to reach for my bow. I stop. I take my sword and I rush and attack.
All right, go ahead and roll to hit. Thinking better of the bow.
8 plus 4, 12.
12. The creature skitters further back into the cave, just out of the reach of your sword as you swing it. Brim.
I'm still just going to keep protecting Ashrin, but now looking over in the corner at the one that's now literally being backed into a corner and about to be murdered. And that'll end my turn.
Well, I feel like we're just emotionally traumatizing Brim here.
Close your eyes, somebody close his eyes.
All right, let's go to Gimbal.
Lilith said they can die, so he is going to use his last spell, Burning Hands, and cast it on these 2 spiders that are unconscious.
Okay, all right. They get no reflex save, so roll damage. See again, and you can target it so you're not hitting your friends, which obviously you do. And you see flame shoots out from the gnome's hands, bathes the spiders in fire.
3 points each.
Okay. You see they curl. It's hard to tell if they're alive or dead. They're now singed. You can smell the burning insectile carapace scent in the room. We go to Millie.
Millie's just going to search the around the cave and see if she sees any more spiders.
All right. So you leave those two. You start looking around, and as you're scanning, the cave's not terribly tall, 10, 11 feet. You're looking in the corners. You see webbing, but you don't notice any other spiders.
Right.
The spider that's cornered now leaps to attack Lilith. It hits. Lilith, it lands on you. You feel fangs sink into your thigh. You take 3 points of damage. I need you to make a fortitude save, DC 12.
Okay.
You feel poison coursing into your body.
11 plus 3.
Okay. You feel that the thigh grows cold, but you sense that you are overcoming this poison. You feel sort of an affinity, an ability to overcome it, your natural sort of connection with these creatures. We then go to initiative. Ooh, DM with a 6. Beat that. All right.
1.
It attacks you again. Oh, it hits you again, Lilith.
Enjoy.
This time 4 points of damage.
Okay.
And
Do I need to do that poison thing again?
yep, and then another DC 12 fortitude save.
Okay. 12 plus 3, so 15 total.
All right, you are hale and hearty, lass. We go to Wilnan.
That thick layer of dirt that I have on my leg.
Seeing Lilith bitten twice and attacked, and a little nervous about swinging my sword that close, I lay on hands.
Okay. Lilith, you see Uthar, Wilnan leans over to touch you. You resist the urge to flinch away as he does so. And you get, what's the roll?
Is it a roll or is
It'd be a D6,
Oh, is it a D6? Sorry.
Yep.
So that's 3.
Nice, thank you.
So you feel the healing from the prayer uttered by Wilnan, and you feel warmth suffuse your body. You get light healing. Now we're going to go to Millie.
Well, seeing all of this happening in this corner over here, I'm guessing I can tell there's a commotion over there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to move. Can I move and attack in the same round for this?
Not there. That's all the way across the room. But these other
Right.
these other two spiders, you're not sure if they're alive or dead.
Well, I mean they're incapacitated either
Correct.
way, so I'm not going to attack them.
All right. So
Can I at least move close to this one that's attacking?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can get all the way over there.
Okay.
Hey, thank you very much for the follow, 3K for you. I don't know if I probably butchered that username. Sorry. If you want to type the phonetics in the chat, you can. All right, and Gimbal.
Gimbal will take his nicely crafted quarterstaff with the little ball at the end of it and hit the one closest to him. Can I get over there and still hit it, or is that...
Oh yeah, you're right there. Yeah, that's 2 steps for you. You come forward. You drive your staff. You don't even need to roll. It's incapacitated. You drive your staff right through the head of the carapace of the creature. You see it curls up, and you have killed it. Brim, death surrounds you. What do? The world's most sensitive half ogre.
I'd like to look around the room to see if I see any other spiders hiding up with my infravision.
Yeah, so you look around. There's no other heat source in this room besides you and the cooling bodies. Your infravision is a bit blinded. The rocks are still hot from Gimbal's flame over there, but you don't see anything else. Ashrin, she rushes over. She moved actually last round. I forgot to move her. And she puts her hands on Lilith's back. And Lilith, you feel a healing touch. You get back 5 hit points of healing from the cleric. Anybody that has not gone this round? I think I got everybody.
Yeah.
All right, initiative. And now we're going to rotate to Millie.
All right.
2 for the DM.
6 for me.
6, you have it. All right. That one spider in the corner and one here still looks to be alive. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Alright. Okay, that's a 23.
That is definitely a hit. Roll damage.
And do you want me to do my dagger as well?
Sure, go ahead. You can roll both attacks.
And that's a 21.
Whoa, okay. Seems like the party's rolls are heating up a bit now.
Alright, so...
Lilith, as she comes running over from the opposite side of the room, she stabs her blade into the carapace. As the creature spins towards her, she stabs her dagger in its side.
And... Excellent. 7. So that's 13 points of damage.
Tell me what it looks like.
Just because that she's seen that Lilith's been attacked, she wants to stop these attacks from happening, so she just takes her rapier and her dagger and slices down once and then stabs in it as quickly as possible.
Okay, blood and entrails, sort of ichor gush from the creature. You see its sack deflates, it rolls over on its back and curls up. Rory, there is just the one spider remaining right next to Gimbal.
Right. And that Brim is right there also, right?
Correct, yeah, he's standing there, but he's made no move to do anything but sort of shield and defend. And you see his eyes are kind of being cast around the ceiling.
So Gimbal is going to go over to that other spider next to Brim, ready to repeat what he just did. And as he goes to run it through, he's just going to pause, remembering just some brief moments with Brim and their conversations, and he's going to hold off and just tap Brim, as in like a gesture of, what do you want to do with this?
You see the gnome come over and tap your kneecap.
It's still alive. It just can't do anything right now. But we could take it out of here.
A spider, a creature on its own species, left alone with none other of its kind, is not much of a life. And
Brim will go over and walk over to the last remaining one. And almost like Lilith was doing where she had her hand on the bear, he's going to put his hand on the spider. And he's going to pull his maul out. I'm sorry. And just...
All right, as he does so, I'm going to give you, for your stack, add an advantage to your stack, Brim. I like the way you roleplayed this whole thing. You know, for the half-ogre to resist combat, not charge in with a bloodlust, stick with sort of his view of how this was occurring. I thought that was really well roleplayed. So that's a DM advantage that goes to Brim. All right, all are dead now.
Glasses of milk all around.
The cavern is now quiet. What do you do?
There's nowhere else to go. Like this there's no path.
Yeah, there's no other exits. It's just a small, cave back here against a hillside.
Can we look around the cave?
Sure, you can.
Anything? Yeah.
Is the torch that I threw on the ground still burning?
It is.
I'm going to retrieve it.
Okay, you pick it up. Guttering flame. Lilith, as you search around, you do see that there are several bones of small creatures. Looks like many birds have been captured, rabbits, squirrels, some looks like foxes that have been pulled in here and killed. Their bones litter different areas. You also see there's a large egg sac in one of the webs.
Oh, darn. Is it moving?
It is not.
This egg sac isn't moving?
No.
I'm gonna look at Brim.
this time has just started to kind of carry the bodies outside of the spiders, just to kind of make it more hospitable for the bears again.
Oh, see? She'll look over at Millie and ask if she can borrow the torch.
Yes.
What do you want to do with it?
I just want to hold it for a minute. Can I just hold it?
But yes, Millie hands it over to Lilith.
So if Brim had done like a heat search, he didn't notice that there was. You said that he didn't really notice that there was anything around.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, kind of the brightness of the flame that had heated this egg sac. Even as you're close to it and looking at it now, there is heat, but it's a very dim heat source that was behind webbing, kind of obscured in the back of the cave.
I'm just wondering if Brim had noticed the egg sac or not.
He had not, but he does now. Like you're.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to the egg sac. I was paying attention to carrying the bodies out. Of
Oh,
the
okay.
cave.
I'm sorry, I missed that. So you're actually in the act of carrying them out.
He's been
Okay.
busy, yeah.
Yeah, then you don't see
Okay.
it for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just kind of wait for a moment where Brim isn't in the cave.
All right. Brim steps out, begins moving the bodies. You touch the fire to the egg sac, and
they're gonna go bad.
in just in a matter of seconds, it catches. It burns quite quickly. The webbing, it's sort of a quick blaze, and then done within seconds. Acrid smoke. Sizzling embers fall to the ground. You do see some tiny little spiders that move and then just curl up and burn. And the egg sac, everything is sort of swept away in seconds. Black smoke in the cave.
She'll kind of use her foot to kind of like stomp out the fire quickly before Brim comes back, and then like kind of just like walk around like.
So Brim, you come walking back in to grab another body of the spider, and you do notice it's smoky in here. The smell of burnt flame. There's still some, remaining embers licking on the floor, and Lilith is just kind of looking around innocently.
Is there anything else I see other than Brim's face?
Could Brim possibly discern this?
I mean, go ahead and roll d20.
Cool. What would I be headed to that?
What was the roll?
It was just a 10.
A 10. You have an inkling, that she has burned something back here, but it could have been one of the bodies of the spiders. You're not sure exactly what it was.
Looking at her, I just kind of give her this small smile and just nod my head and divert my attention to the next body to carry out.
All right. In seconds, Brim has carried all the bodies out. You search the rest of the cave. Again, you find the bones of small animals and creatures. Nothing of any sort of commerce value, but there are several, clean skulls, bits of bone, claws, creatures, all over the cave that have been devoured.
Lilith will pick up just like one of the skulls and just put it in one of the pockets, like a smaller one.
Okay, go ahead and put that in your inventory. It's a bird, a fox, a squirrel. What do you want?
Bird, I'll do bird.
Okay, you get a good-sized bird skull. Anyone else doing anything else in here?
Yeah, Gimbal is kind of taken aback by what was said, and he is pretty much from the beginning, he's just going to go sit outside the cave.
All right, Gimbal moves back outside the cave. Is everyone else headed out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you had, immediately just, emerging from the cave where there had been, stench and, brief fear, and also you could feel almost palpably Brim's sorrow. Now as you step back out into the clean air, it almost seems like a distant memory. Your freshness of the breeze and the peacefulness.
As we walk, I'm actually going to turn to Ashen and say, "Dear, I do have noticed you are capable of healing magics." And she kind of grips her side where she had been hit by the assassin the night before. I was wondering if perhaps you could mend me a little further.
Of course I can. I have a remaining spell for... I can help you with that. Come here.
And I go to her.
She bows her head and she utters a prayer as she calls out and places her hand on you. You feel that warmth and energy. You're healed for 4 hit points of damage.
Thank you, dear. I really appreciate it.
Think nothing of it. I'm glad we're out of there. I cared nothing for that place. And I must say, Master Ogai, I appreciate your scruples, but you leaving that club upon your shoulder when we're fighting was less than helpful, I think.
First, Brim, we've talked about this. Second, it is a mall.
She drops her head quickly as though fearing some sort of violent outburst from you.
Just a quick question. If I were to have a private conversation with Brim, how does that work?
Yeah, so we can do that a couple of ways. If you want to indicate that you're doing that, and you can just notify everybody, they will then it'll be OOC that they're not listening or not hearing, and we just rely on their role play to do that. If you really, really want it secret, then you can use something like a Discord chat with him, but then that, of course, removes our viewers from it. So I'd say that should be only reserved for the very most secret of things, yeah. So if you'd like to, you can just say, hey, I pull Brim over to the side, and you guys can role play it.
I get Lilith will pull Brim aside as we're walking back.
Hey, DM Solo, good to see Chris in here. Thank you for all the gift subs. That's Fable 42. You hear me talk about them a lot. Actually, one of our players here plays in a Fable 42 campaign, and Chris is a really good DM. Check out Fable 42 Realms of Ukador. And Chris, you can drop your creds, your chat stuff in the chat if you'd like. All right, so you pull Brim over. You see Lilith, the rest of the party. You see Lilith kind of pulls Brim's cloak and moves him a few feet away.
As she kind of looks up at Brim, she'll ask why he feels so strongly about the spiders.
Lilith, as a druid, as one of nature, if someone came to us saying that the spiders had gotten attacked by the bears, would we have gone to kill the bears? Another question. If humans go out each day and murder half-orcs, demi creatures, who's in the wrong? Now, the second example, they have sentience. They have a bit more feeling and life and knowledge of what good and bad is. A creature that is living. The way of life. The strong survive. Well, we have broken that code. I told you that I would come with you. I never said that I would lift my maul in service to it. I support you in the decision that you made, because I understand it wasn't an easy one. But I could not lend my effort to it.
I appreciate that you came with me under the circumstances. Earlier in the tavern, you'd asked what a Greyhawk was. We're just a very secretive group that are delve deep in the forest, and we don't really deal with many outsiders. Hence why I don't really like to talk about where I'm from. I appreciate you coming with me and supporting me, and that's the only reason why I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on with me. But I lost my clan, and I feel very strongly when the druid had approached me to ask for help, to help him. So thank you for coming with me.
You see the first smile finally break the worry that has been on Brimstone's face this whole time.
You're not the only one to feel like an outcast and alone. That's why we're the Wayward Bolt now.
And I put my forehead down to hers.
And she'll put her hand on his face,
So
trying to avoid his touch.
the rest of you, you see this quiet exchange. You can't hear what's going on, but at the end of it, you do see Brim break out in this tusked, wide smile, and then this very oddly tender, motion he makes. His hand reaches out toward Lilith. They touch heads briefly, as though they've shared some sort of moment.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Lilith, I just want you to know that if any harm did come to the party, I would have given my aid.
I know you would. I 100% know you would. I appreciate you. Thank you. And then she'll kind of like pat I don't know. I'll tell you. Pat your cap.
I was like, "What you patting?"
No, you're bigger than Gimbal. You can get a hamstring. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get a hamstring.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys, they rejoin the party a couple of seconds later. Is anyone else saying anything to them, or just letting the moment pass?
Kimbo will just continue to sit where he was, just outside the cave, until the party leaves. He'll go with them, but he'll just kind of sit there in solace.
Millie's just looking at them both with extreme interest.
All right. Anything for you, Wilnan?
Nothing. I'm looking at my sword. I'm looking at the trees, just kind of enjoying it. It's all the same to me. I couldn't have cared less about the spiders. I certainly don't understand or appreciate what's going on at this point. So I'm kind of disinterested, but I'm not interrupting anything.
Yeah. So, see, Wilnan is neither emotionally sympathetic to the struggle, nor altogether interested in the tender moment shared between Lilith and Brim. He just goes about cleaning off the spider guts from his sword in seconds. Hey, thank you very much, Redbeard. We appreciate that. He is a long-time Blue Box follower and fan, great friend of the show. We always appreciate him being with us. So then, in seconds, you're back before Jeru. He lifts his hoary head. I can feel that it's done. I can only say thank you. I can see on your faces this was not easy, and I'm glad no one was badly harmed.
Yes.
Yep.
Lilith will say that the spiders, we have rid the spiders of the cave.
I thank you. A difficult task. I never like to see life taken, but it was the right thing, and I appreciate your aid. Here, I have a small gift for you. And he holds out, you see a little talisman. It's a carved bear head. Looks a lot like the one that's by his side on a leather thong.
Lilith will reach out and grab it and put it around her neck.
Okay. He pats. It won't be long now. My friend is almost gone. If you don't mind, I'd like to share a few moments with him quietly, but always return here. For as long as I draw breath, I will be your friend. For those that don't know and just joined, this is Jeru Ashstaff, the original druid of the Grove of Hamlet, but he's now 40-some years aged, getting toward the end of his life, and his bear companion is actually drawing his final breath. So it's a sad moment for him here, and for anyone also familiar with any of that original Greyhawk lore. He tips his staff in thank you. He looks at Brim, and he gives him the most empathetic look of all. He arches a brow. You have a strange spirit about you, friend. I fear your path will be difficult, but your heart will serve you well.
No. Hieronius and Zodal bless you both. Hope peace falls.
He nods like, thank you, but not like that really means too much to him. All right, is anybody doing anything else while you're here? Anything else you want to say to him?
No, I think we're good. We can go.
Okay. All right. So where's the party going now? And we're going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. Thank you for all of our viewers participating with us. We'll go for just a bit longer, and then we've got another Greyhawk show that we'll be rating. Will and the team over there at Wicked Studios, and they've got a really cool thing going on, so you want to be part of that. Is the party doing anything else?
I don't think so. I think we can just leave and go back to town, I suppose.
Okay.
If anybody...
Anyone dissent? All right. Where are you going in town? You going back to the Welcome Wench? Are you going to any other places to gather more equipment? What does the party want to do?
Lilith will go back to the Welcome Wench. She doesn't need to shop for anything at the moment.
Gimble's good with that also.
Okay.
I want to stop at the smith to see if I can get any kind of improved armor.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. And then what about Millie? Where's Millie going?
I think Millie is going to just kind of... She's going to head back in the direction of the tavern, but she's going to take her time wandering back, kind of thinking on a bit about what she's witnessed today. All of these very odd people that she has found herself amongst.
Yeah, no, that's great. And obviously for Millie, and this is a bit of OOC, but I think it's fine at this moment sharing with the viewers. It's not something that the players necessarily, their PCs, would be aware of. But, is for her the struggle just, she's so accustomed to a commerce-driven mindset. And some of the attitudes that she's seeing from certain members of the party is quite at odds with that. Is that essentially what it is?
Partly that, but partly other things.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's all you need say. All right, so everybody else heads back to the Inn of the Welcome Wench, with the exception of Brim and Wilnan. You make your way. Again, you've never been in the shop, but you've heard it referred to as the Smith, or the shop of Brother Smith, which is an odd name for a smith, but that is what he has been referred to. And when you walk in the shop, as you come to the shop, you see it's pretty easy to identify. It has outside of it it has a post with a horseshoe nailed on it on all three sides. And as you step in, you enter a smithy. There are a pair of torches that are burning on the walls. And there is a swarthy and heavily muscled dwarf that stands behind a counter. He's actually got a sword in one hand that he's putting a whetstone to. And you can smell sulfur and the odors of metal and various items and equipment as you step in the room. And there's a large brown rug that lays on the floor just in front of the counter where the smith stands. So if you're looking on your battle map scene, you can see that there. And as you step in, you see he looks up from his bench and says, what can I do for you?
Good morrow, Brother Smith. I seek to possibly repair or replace my chainmail and my shield for something better.
As Brim stoops through the doorway and steps in, you see his eyes go wide. I have not seen your kind here in some time. What brings a half-ogre here?
Accompanying a friend and to ask for services myself.
No offense intended. I can make the chainmail armor. That's got to be fitted and sized, and it takes some time. But I've got ample number of shields. What did you have in mind?
Well, currently my heavy wooden shield provides reasonable protection, but I seek something lighter and more durable, and perhaps that gives me a little more protection. Do you have anything you recommend?
I have quite the item here. One moment. You see, turns and he walks back behind the counter to the room behind him, and he comes out a few moments later with a good size, not exactly a tower shield. It's kind of a half shield. It's metal. It looks like it's got a nice curvature to it, and on the front is a big hammer that's actually been etched into the metal. I've made this myself for difficult combat, and it can take quite a blow. And he hands it across to you. It feels fairly light, but very sturdy. But it's not an inexpensive piece.
I see. This is excellent work. How much would you charge for it?
That piece there would be for 30 pieces of gold.
With whatever knowledge I have, I take a look at it and try to evaluate the quality myself.
Sure, go ahead and do a knowledge appraisal.
Let's see. Very low roll, 5, and then I think my knowledge right now. Sorry, let me jump to that. It's at best only adding 2, I think.
Yeah. So look, you could tell it's a very well-made shield. The fashioning of it. I'll tell you. So it's it's sort of OOC. It would be a total of +2. No, nothing magical here. Just a well-made large shield would give 2 points to your armor class.
All right. I take out the gem I have. Is that exchange rate just knowing that it's worth 25 gold, or would that be something?
No, that was just a rough appraisal that you guys did when you found them.
Would you be willing to take this gem off my hands and a little bit of gold as well for the shield?
Oh, I'm not a money changer, but I suppose. He takes a look at it. He kind of flips it around with a very deft hand. This kind of gem is very common in the Lormill Mountains. I'll give you 15 gold value for this.
I agree, and give him the additional 15 gold with the gem.
Okay. He takes the coin. He takes the gem. If you wish, I can take your measurements for the armor, but a good suit of chain will cost you quite a bit of coin, and it'll take me at least a week to fashion. I have much of the structure already made, but I will have to modify what I have to fit you.
I would appreciate that service. We will be out adventuring, but we will definitely return, and I would like to go ahead and have you begin making this if you can make the time, and I will pick it up later.
Aye, and will there be anything for your large friend there?
Do you have anything for him?
Well, hello, I am Brim, also known as Brimstone. What is your name?
They call me here Brother Smith, and I have for nigh unto 50 years, lad.
Brother Smith, wonderful to meet you.
He kind of gives you a quizzical look.
You see, I prefer having my name than my race.
And I'd like to, this whole time that they've been talking, I would have liked to have been looking around the room.
Yeah, so
just seeing.
As you scan the room, you see there's several weapons. There's spears, longsword, but everything more or less sized to smaller items like daggers, maximum sort of human-sized weapons. But he sees you kind of eyeing. I have fashioned weapons for your kind before. If you wish me to make you something, I can do it. It would take, again, several days. But tell me what you want, and I can begin to make it.
Brother Smith, you're very kind, but it's probably nothing I could afford.
I appreciate the honesty, lad. I don't wish to waste time for you or me.
What would you estimate being able to create something for my friend here?
What would he be wanting?
Either another maul, a great sword, a two-handed weapon,
He nods a moment. He kind of sizes you up. And he says, the kind of blade you be needing, and the size of it. I could make you a two-handed sword for human-sized hands. You could wield it, if you wished, with your strength, I'm guessing, with one hand. Such a weapon, balanced properly for your size, I would need 40 pieces of gold for that.
What about if I wanted one that was me-sized?
A true great sword, to be wielded with both hands by one your size. I would need then 60 pieces of gold for such a weapon. That's a lot of metal and a lot of time.
No?
I plunk down 60 gold and say,
No.
my friend here has paid me well with his service and friendship, and I would see him properly armed.
Uthar? No.
You owe me nothing, my friend. We are fighters and brothers, and enhancing your ability to fight helps us all in the party. Please, think nothing of it, I insist.
Uthar, this is something I want to work for. I'm deeply, deeply thankful for what you're willing to do here, but this is something I need to earn on my own.
You will be able to pay me back in many ways. If the dwarf accepts.
You see the dwarf is just, Brother Smith looks back and forth. He is clearly perplexed by what's going on.
He puts his hands up and like walks out.
I think we have our answer.
All right. So the dwarf. I think your friend there has stricken his head one too many times.
If that is an ogre with a stricken head, then I must have hit mine many times more. He is the most philosophical half-ogre I have ever met. I believe he possesses intelligence and wisdom greater than myself.
I see. You've been spending a lot of time at the Welcome Wench.
Perhaps too much.
All right, so he takes your measurements. He pulls out a long piece of yarn. He marks off and takes him several minutes. And before we conclude, is anybody else doing anything that I should be aware of before we end tonight's session? One of the rare sessions we don't end with some sort of a cliffhanger, but I don't want to push one artificially, and I really love what the party has done here. So anybody have anything else you'd like to do before we finish up?
I have a question. When Brim, when you leave the blacksmith, do you head back towards the inn, or are you waiting for?
I head outside and then I do the whole I don't want to be here, cross arm, 1 foot up against the tavern.
Would Millie possibly see him as she's wandering around?
No, not yet. Because you were. Oh, well, actually.
Because I've been
sure. Yeah,
for
you
a
see
while.
him. You see, you're both kind of meandering back to the inn about the same time.
Hello. What are you doing out here?
Uthar, the soft idiot, dropped 60 gold for me to get a great sword. Why would he do that?
Perhaps it's a paladin thing. Perhaps it's he likes you thing.
It makes no sense. Wait, what?
What? What is your question?
We're together to make money and to get jobs done, correct?
Well, yes. On top of other things, obviously, everybody else has their own motivations.
We've only known each other a short while.
Right.
Why would someone trust a half-ogre this soon? Let
Well,
alone drop 60 gold for one.
well, I mean, it seems perhaps that you might be making assumptions about him that other people might make about you. Assuming that he wouldn't be generous with you because of who you are. I've encountered many of your kind in my days on the sea. It's not that unusual.
What were they like?
Brave. Strong. Some of them questionably when it came to their morals, but some of them very good, some of them very bad. Just like any other person, really.
And no one has really asked Brimstone his age, but he looks like a child in this moment, just listening to the bits and pieces you feed him about other half-ogres.
All right. That is a fantastic exchange. Thank you for that. We're going to stop right there, and we'll pick that back up next week. Now, before you go, we're going to do a raid here in a second, but we have a tradition that we do here on Blue Box. I forgot to do it last time. Shame on me. But we have a stream MVP, and you, the viewers, get to choose the stream MVP, and the stream MVP gets an experience point bonus for being the MVP, and it goes up as we go up in levels. So right now, it's a 250 experience point bonus. I need a quick 20-second summary from each of you on why you should be the stream MVP. This can be combat, this can be ideas, role play, and don't be overly humble. Please advocate for yourself so the viewers have reasons to support you. So jump out of the humble half ogre, and let's start with Millie because I know she knows how to do this.
Yes, I've done this once or twice. So I'm gonna put myself in for MVP for my roleplay this session. And just her general playing up her natural curiosity and trying to figure these people out more.
All right, Wilden, why should you be stream MVP?
Because my dice are working better this round. I dropped some serious cash and spread the love there. And I have shown an attempt to redeem myself with Lilith.
I think that's excellent. All right, let's go to Lilith.
I don't know, my MVP for bribery and and guilt.
Okay.
I guess I don't know. I'm joking.
All right.
And just like a little for a little bit of that RP moment with Brim there.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Love that. All right, let's go to Gimbal. MVP, why?
Gimbal should be the MVP because of his use of his spells, and he took out half the spiders. And little weak, and also like dynamite, right? Dynamite's little comes in small packages, but it's mighty.
Right.
And then he also recognized, and did his stuff with Grimble right next to him when he.
No, that was fantastic. I thought that was another great roleplay. And then last but not least, Brim, why should you be stream MVP?
I feel like I should be stream MVP because I was useless in a fight. And
no, but this time it was voluntary uselessness. That was different.
I played to my character and honestly had a lot of amazing roleplay moments with the other cast.
Yeah, you really did. Okay, so put your votes in the chat. Brim, Millie, Gimbal, Wilnan. Who should be our stream MVP? Just pop the name. We got one for Brim. Another Brim. Hands down, great quality voice acting. Lilith for MVP. Mystic Unicorn gives our third for Brim. Oh, and Gimbal took out the assassin too. Many people are conspiracy theorizing that you're the one that killed that assassin. Lilith, I think that's 3 for Lilith, 3 for Brim, 4 for Brim, 5. So 5-3, I think. Anybody else with votes? You can get them in. Just a few more seconds. A lot of love here. Thank you so much again to our viewers. Quick reminder before I announce the winner. We got one for Gimbal here. Very nice, Gimbal. Gimbal and Brim Kigia tried to get away with 2 votes.
First, my name was first, so I get it.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, so thank you so much for being on the stream today. Reminder, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock Central, we have Lore Masters Arcanum. That's just a quick 1-hour show. It's really a talk show. Bring content, DM tips, player tips, lore, exciting things, old school Dragon magazine. Tomorrow night, we're talking about backstories and all the things that go with backstory creation, DM tips, player tips, how to connect it in the campaign, what's too much, what's too little, how can you help your players write great backstories, and I love those. That's a fantastic element to the campaigns. And then on Sundays, every week, on Sunday, we have our Rune Lord stream. And so that's Sundays at 1:30. You can see the whole broadcast channel on our Twitch and also on our Instagram. So please check us out on those as well. Another for Brim. And hey, thank you very much, Moondog. We think our viewers are awesome too. I really think we have some of the most amazing viewers. To be a channel our size, we're not even at 400 followers yet, but we've got like 50 subscribers. We're growing really well. We want to get to 400 followers by the second week of July. So about 30 days. I think we're going to hit that. I think we're going to blow right past it. So tell your friends about the show. And it looks like it was a close vote. Hey, thank you, Desmodez, for the follow. That gets us one step closer. We're at 366. We picked up 66 followers in just the last 3 weeks. I mean, it's been fantastic how quickly it's growing. So before I announce the winner, and then we're going to do a raid on Wicked Studios. Yeah, thank you. By the way, Zombie Knight, congratulations again. Mitch is the one that won the Greyhawk Classic box set last week. And do you have it yet? Has it come in, Mitch? And while I'm waiting on his answer, if you are watching tonight and you haven't followed us yet or given us a sub, we have one question for you for the last time tonight. What are you doing? Please give us a follow. And the winner tonight is Brim, is our stream MVP. Well done, Brim. All right, Mitch, it should be there any second. So enjoy that. Maybe post something on Instagram when you get it. If you can, we'd love to see that. And we are going to raid, and we should be bringing a good almost 40 people in for Will's stream, Wicked Studios. Also part of the community here. He's got a Greyhawk stream. He's got a Dragonlance. It's all cool stuff. You're going to like it. See you, Bloodwild. Thank you so much. And Blue Box raiding now. Everybody have a great night.
Bye.
And just hang on here.